everybody. Welcome to the Game Over Greggy show. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the producer/seducer, Nick Scarpino.
Hi, Greg.
What's this shirt?
This
Deathly
is
Hallows?
yeah, it's a Death Eater shirt.
This is
I got this at the when I went and saw the London show.
Yeah.
Chrissy Child. Yeah.
Yeah. I heard. Is it true that they had the T-shirt can and shot it at you?
No. What happened was Voldemort himself just got up and was like, "Here, you're the best audience member."
Hey, real talk. Shout out to the Harry Potter effect when they go away, like on the Virgin flight we just did, wherever the hell we just came from. When the Fantastic Beasts, when Colin Farrell just is walking on the street and then it looks so.
Nick,
that's
sweet.
It's dope.
Apparate.
Apparate.
Yeah.
Over there, the pure one at Tim Gettys.
Let Tim host.
And joining us from patreon.com/kindafunny, Matt Marcon.
Hi.
Yay! Thank you for wanting to come be a part of the show.
Thanks for having me.
Now, here's what I'll tell you straight off the bat. We haven't. This is weird. Usually, I think you're the first Patreon guest who has been completely under Kevin's rule. Whereas before, I used to be point of contact. I'd talk to people. I'd direct them. I'd know more about them. So you and I haven't talked that much. Okay. You got here. You got there's like 7 of us now, so you get to talk to a bunch of people. I want it on the table right away. Just dislike your name. It's Matt Marcon, and I want to keep saying Mark. Because it's Matt Marcon.
See, that's my uncle.
It's too close. Mark
that's
is
my
your uncle.
Mark.
Wait, you have a Mark Marcon?
Mark Marcon. My dad is Michael Marcon, and my mom.
Oh no.
Mary Marcon.
Oh my God.
I thought you were gonna say Marcon.
Well, that'd be weird if that was my mom.
Mark Marcon sounds like a superhero.
He is.
You know,
he's like a 50-year-old dude, and he's got like a 6-pack. He's jacked.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like that
he's a cool
either.
dude.
This whole family, I don't know. Now, do you have any brothers or sisters?
One brother.
What's his name?
Keaton.
No.
Fucking Keaton.
He's a half brother. Half brother.
Wait, was he named after Michael Keaton? Because that would be amazing.
That would be cool, but I don't think
Alex P. Keaton.
Okay.
Mr. Keaton.
These are all last names.
Skippy. Well, you can still call it.
No.
So tell everybody a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? What do you do?
I work in insurance, so I'll skip over that. We won't have to talk about that anymore.
Berkshire?
No.
Shelter insurance.
No.
Geico.
No, like I said, let's just skip over
If
it.
someone has an animal or a bird, do you sell bird insurance?
I think there is bird insurance. Cool. Yeah.
But do you sell it? Are you an insurance salesman?
No, I'm not. No.
Are you a traveling insurance salesman?
No.
Are you here?
Yeah.
You're here to
so guys, I need to talk about your insurance today.
This is a nice place you have here. It'd be a shame if something happened to
you. You're underinsured.
Just drops over land. I'm like, sir, you just broke that. The fuck?
All right, cool.
I live in New York.
All right. The Big Apple.
The Big Apple.
City.
No.
Brotherly love.
Oh, also that, not that one.
Okay.
No.
Sorry.
But I'm currently in moving back. I'm on my way to move back to California.
Nice. The Bay Area.
The Bay Area.
Going back to Cali.
Going back to Cali.
What is your nerve level to be on this show right now?
Nerve level?
Yeah.
Surprisingly not very high.
Good.
I'm
your best
calm.
friend. You get the whole shtick.
Right.
We're just here to fuck around and be stupid. Yeah. But yeah, I always see it in the chat.
And all the drugs that you gave me before the show.
Yeah, of course.
So many drugs.
Lot of drugs.
Nick, what's your favorite drug?
What's my favorite drug? I'm high on life, son. I'm high on life.
Good answer.
And Starbucks. I'm really high on Starbucks right now.
We'll get to that later, I'm sure. No, I always see in the comments when somebody's on the episode, like, oh man, I couldn't do that. I don't think I'd be able to hang, blah, blah, blah. I think you're gonna be just fine. You were hanging out earlier. We were having a lot of fun beforehand. I was stomping around. We were all singing songs. We were having a good time.
We were.
That makes it sound like it was more organized. Me and Nick were singing songs.
Look what you made me do. Look what you made me do. Look what I did do.
Check it out.
I'm gonna go. Well, if you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Game Over Greggy show. Each and every week, 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather on this table, each bringing a random topic discussion for your amusement.
Good job.
If you like that, head over to patreon.com/kindafunny, where you can get each and every episode early. Tim, how early?
Every early.
Jesus fucking Christ. Oh, it's been a week. This is what happens when we don't get weekends anymore. No weekends.
It's only Wednesday, though.
I know.
That's
remind us, please, Jesus. So early you can be watching us as we recorded right now. That's right. So many people are doing it just for $1. That's great. Or you get crazy perks like being on the show. So go over to Patreon. Check it out. But if you got no money to toss our way, no big deal. Head over to youtube.com/kindafunny, where we post the entire show, topic by topic, day by day, until it goes up as one big video and MP3. Nick?
Yes, sir.
You get the topic glasses.
Where did you get these weird ass Mr. Magoo glasses?
Last day of June. It's a game that's out.
Man, you just
it came in the press.
Looks
pack.
like Mr. Peabody.
Mr. Magoo.
Look at the. You look good. Look at the camera. Kevin, give me the one. Give me the.
Paula worked on Mr. Peabody.
Yes, she did.
Push this down there. Have you ever thought about glasses?
Yeah.
Because look at how good.
terrible it must be to have to
Why
wear
do the
glasses all the
make your
time.
mouth do that thing?
You look
like. Do I look? How,
you look like a professor.
Hold on, let me try. Let me just straighten this out.
Straighten them out, yeah.
Let me tell you something about the history of the French people.
Thank you, finally. I'd love to hear about the history of the French people, Professor Scarpino.
They're all dumb.
Wow.
There it is.
Wow.
There it is.
So they're the kind of people
Only
that
the
would
smart
say
ones come to America.
these dumb French people are
Yeah.
the kind of people who would say Cheetos or chips.
They would probably think all chips are the same. They
Sure.
would probably also put the Funyun in the chip category, and we all know that the Funyun lays squarely outside of the chip category.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Where's it
That
lie?
that doesn't even have.
Where's it lay?
It's a
Frito-Lay.
Colette. It's a circular Colette.
In your face, you got pwned there, huh? Didn't you?
So goddamn much. Colette.
Tim doesn't like when I pay attention to things.
No.
Because he always expects that I don't, because 99% of the time
You're
I have
not.
no idea
Yeah,
what you guys are talking
exactly,
about.
exactly.
But then the one time I do, it throws him off a little bit.
Yeah,
he
you
doesn't
got him.
appreciate
You-
that.
it's like you guys are like two great sumo fighters, and he thinks he's gonna knock you out of the ring. You just come and you do that thing where
Yeah, we're exactly like
E
sumo
Honda.
fighters.
Yeah.
Sumo fighters? I don't know.
Sumo
about
fighters.
sumo fighters.
Yeah.
you
no.
you remember Yokozuna
Very
though?
fat.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Just what Yokozuna would do then, sure. You know. Remember when Lex Luger slammed him?
No.
Big moment when Lex Luger. Nick, what's your topic?
My topic today comes from a thing that's near and dear to my heart: Starbucks. And let me just set this up for you. The other day I was at a Starbucks, and the person in front of me had that look, and I was like, "Oh, don't do this to
I
me."
hate the glasses. I can't do it. Nick's looking straight at me with these fucking glasses.
I was like, I heard this person when the person, the cashier was like, "What would you like?"
Yeah.
I heard the person go like this, and I was like,
Oh no!
"Don't do this to
Oh
me.
no!
Don't."
How
do
long
this
is
to
the
me."
line at this point? We in the morning rush?
No, it's not. It wasn't
This is
that bad.
just the
but
Nick
still,
Scarpino third
Nick
trip.
waiting at Starbucks is
It never ends
Nick's
well.
least favorite. Nick.
It never ends
I
well.
don't like waiting, and I certainly don't like being stuck behind the person who it's their first time at the Starbucks, right? And I was like, then I took a step back and I was like, you know what? Maybe I should have some patience, because what a wonderful thing I'm getting to watch right now. Someone's first experience.
That first taste of the sweet candy.
Virginity.
At Starbucks,
Being lost.
right?
Yeah.
Busted
And so I
open.
wanted to talk to you guys about your first experiences at Starbucks. Greg, I
Gotcha.
know you're newer
Don't fucking touch me like that ever again.
than we are. Tim and I have been addicted to Starbucks for a long time.
No, what? No.
Really?
No, what? No.
Oh,
newer
no.
to Starbucks. No,
Let's
not
go down the
newer.
line. Yeah, I just
I'm
wanna
not.
talk about Starbucks.
I didn't find an addiction to Starbucks until I started hanging out with you.
Yeah.
And I can pinpoint it exactly. It was the E3. It would have been E3 2015. No, that's right. 2015, right? Yeah, it was the first E3 we were doing up at noon. And you guys had me working so much, and there was that one right around the corner that you would just bring me back the big old iced coffees. And I was like, yeah. And I went over there, and then it was the same year they had debuted the mobile app. So you guys were using the app and getting your stars and all that jazz or whatever. So I got in on that. And then once you give me some kind of club reward card, as you
right.
know what I'm talking about, Matt,
love those
I'm always
fucking
getting.
things.
Oh, it's because it's a video game in
makes
real
you
life
do it.
suddenly.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm leveling up.
sure
I'm
is.
increasing my stats here.
You got to platinum the Starbucks.
Exactly, you know it, and I did that. And then one day, that led to my account getting hacked and all these PayPal charges, and I was like, never again. And I deleted it, and I stopped, and that was the end of
last
that.
time I went to Starbucks.
For me, I'll take you even further back. Not as far back as Grandma Miller. All right, this isn't going to be a Grandma Miller story.
Is
Nick.
Grandma Miller still alive during this time period?
Oh
though?
yeah, totally. She's alive
Cool.
during this one.
Okay.
But here's where we're going.
Where are we going?
Aunt Dell and Uncle Scott. I'm lying, I'm dying. Because if you're a new viewer to the show, and you get Matt, you get to be in a very, very interesting place today.
Yeah.
After this, I am personally inviting you.
I signed up to do this.
I am personally inviting you to go to Nick's car. I want you to go to Nick's car. I'll take you there. You sit in it. It smells just like Uncle Scott's car.
does.
That's
It's
why
a spitting image. Of Uncle
every time I
Scott's
get
car.
in Nick's car, I get in that front seat, I lean back, my head sticks to your headrest now because Sean Pitts has gross hair,
Yeah.
and then it smells like Uncle Scott's car, and I'm stoked. It's a trip down memory lane. I remember as a child, the first time I was ever hearing about Starbucks was through Aunt Dell and Uncle Scott.
Okay.
They are worldly traveled people.
They know they have.
They are downtown Chicago kind of folks.
Yeah,
you know
they
what I
are.
mean?
Fuck
They have
yeah,
that.
they
Fuck with the Bucks.
They got that hustle
It's them
bustle
and
lifestyle.
Downtown Julie Brown. Just
Downtown
hanging
Julie
out
Brown,
all the
a
time.
staple
Blues
of
Brothers.
downtown
Down in the
Chicago. The
Loop.
Blues Brothers down in
Looping
the
it.
Loop. Good
Yep.
job.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. But that was the thing for my suburban working class parents. They're not drinking no Starbucks. They never heard of the
they're like
Starbucks.
Dunkin'
Starbucks. Never.
Donuts.
Starbucks. I remember Starbucks when Aunt and Uncle Scott introduced this to life, and they're talking about how addicted to it they are. It seemed like the fanciest of fancy coffees. And now, granted, I know this sounds crazy. I'm sure, Tim, you're like 12 years old. Starbucks has been as big and popular and mainstream as you remember. It wasn't at the time. I remember this was a big deal that they were going there. That they're shut up.
I remember a time
when we fell in love. I remember the time.
Michael Jackson. Song?
Yeah.
You made.
I just started singing lyrics. And I was like, is Greg going to take this into a real song? And you did.
He does, 'cause Greg knows
and you did.
every song.
This is also another...
Jesus Christ.
You know it's bad when he stops mid-sentence, thinks about it for a second, and then just starts laughing.
I need your help on this one, right, Big Daddy.
Okay, let's go.
All right.
I'm on this train with you, sir.
You remember where I'm going with this.
I'm on this Snowpiercer with you.
I guarantee he doesn't remember.
I was there, man. I'm with you.
Remember the Time was the music video with Lisa Marie Presley and Michael Jackson, right?
Yeah.
I distinctly remember this one. Oh, maybe I don't.
Remember the time? I distinctly remember. Oh, maybe I don't.
This is the same video where he hit the car with the bat and the crowbar and turned into a cat at the end.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, no, that's black and white.
Yeah, I thought that.
Did they debut the same night? Kevin, can I get a Google on when Fox debuted? Remember, did Fox TV debut Remember the Time or black and white or both?
I remember him smashing shit.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And I think that was black or white.
That is true. No, that's been covered. That's been covered. I'm trying to remember.
That was Scream. Never mind, that was Scream.
Little baby,
Scream.
little young Greg, not baby by any means at this point, Matt.
Right.
Sitting there, Mom had made this like 3-layer dessert thing that was really good. And I remember eating it, watching one of these Michael Jackson videos, and I remember it was inappropriate for a boy my age. Not to mention be eating this dessert while either it was he was naked with his wife in this video or while he was expressing his rage.
This topic's about Starbucks.
Oh, right. So then after you watched this video, you
Aunt Uncle Scott went there all the time. It was super fancy. I remember my mom making comments to how fancy it was or something, and that's what I knew of it.
What was the other song?
It doesn't matter. Black and white. We'll figure it out. And the chat will tell me. Don't worry about it. It's fine. We'll figure it out. The comments will all be there. We'll figure it out.
If the chat can somehow decipher that.
Here's what I'll give you, everybody. I'll give you very clear definitions that'll solve this case.
Okay.
The video
Evidence
debuted on Fox TV.
Right.
It debuted on a Sunday night.
You need help.
You need sleep.
It is a Sunday
You need
night
so much sleep.
before 2000.
I want you to go home tonight. I want you to go home tonight.
Figure
Get
it
a nice
out.
meal and go to bed early. Don't play your PS4.
I gotta play
Don't
everybody's
the
golf.
Switch.
I gotta play.
No, stop
They
it.
definitely didn't debut on the same day.
There it is.
Why?
Then that's it. Then there you go. Thank you.
Why
Oh, no, you
would
don't
they
know.
debut
November
the same
14th,
day?
1991.
Now, all right, cool. Now, backwards track it. November 14th, put that into Google and tell me if that was November 14th, 1991. Was that a Sunday? That would solve the problem. Because I think it is. Oh, no. No, hold on a second. It said that was.
The plot thickens, ladies and gentlemen.
Hold on. Remember the Time. Go back to the Wikipedia. Enhanced back to the Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Black or White was first broadcast on MTV, BET, VH1, and Fox. Fuck. It was on Fox as well, though. Now it's too complicated. Maybe it wasn't a Sunday.
Why does it have to be a Sunday?
Because I thought it was a Sunday.
That was part of the evidence.
Eating
Nick.
a Sunday.
There was 3 pieces.
It has to be a Sunday.
February 2,
It has to be a
1992
Sunday.
is when Remember the Time debuted.
Oh shit, that's my sister's birthday.
Oh my God.
It's all making sense.
Hold on. Yeah.
The
here.
Chinese zodiac.
What day is oh, yeah. Okay, hold on. Kevin is taking his sweet ass time. There we go. There we go. Okay, we knew the date. Just click on it.
Sunday.
It was. Then it was Remember the Time, correct?
Yeah, it must have been.
So it was Remember the Time. I'm eating this delicious dessert that I know is bad for me, and I'm a little pudge ball, and I'm watching him and Lisa Marie Presley roll around naked. Thank you.
I'll tell you something about that relationship. That relationship, totally natural.
Oh,
Nothing
yeah,
weird
that's
about that
real
at
love.
all.
That's
That was
pure
super
love right there.
That was as natural as anything Tom Cruise has ever done in his relationships with his wives.
Yeah, why are you doing
Shout
that?
out
Why are
to
you doing
Nicole
that?
Kidman.
Why you gotta bring that in?
I thought jumping on a couch was supernatural.
It's supernatural.
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 No, you want to turn this into a Tom Cruise topic? Or you want to save this for next week?
No, I mean, if we're gonna do a Tom Cruise topic, we're gonna save that for next week
Write
because
this down. I
still
don't want
on
to forget.
we can
Starbucks,
just
right?
Tom Cruise in
Yeah,
general.
we're still on Starbucks.
No,
Our
this is.
first
I thought this is
Starbucks.
about
Are we,
Aunt Uncle Scott.
though? That is the question. Are we?
I mean, do you want to talk about Tom Cruise
No,
right now?
no,
Because
no.
we can seg the fuck away.
So that's the first time I remember Starbucks.
Right.
And then I remember starting to go to Starbucks. That was the first time I was aware of Starbucks. Keep up, Zach Wenzel. That was the first time I did that. And then I remember.
I want that whole thing to be a doodles. Just starting from right when he started talking to just that point right there. It's a 10-minute long doodle. Half of it is just Kevin mistyping shit into Google.
That's the thing. Is like, why would he doodle? There's not a story there. When you really boil down what Greg Miller just told us, it's that
what's
a Michael
the evidence?
Jackson
What's
music
the
video
evidence?
came out,
Yeah.
and he knew people that thought Starbucks was fancy.
Yeah. Uncle Bob and Aunt Scott thought it was fancy.
And there wasn't dessert.
And he ate a 3-layer dessert, and it's unbelievable that he would have eaten that dessert on a Thursday night.
Save that for Sundays.
Well, Mom had a job. She couldn't put that much work into a dessert on a Thursday.
And I'm gonna 100% say that you could eat dessert whenever you wanted when you were a kid. Because big old Jamie Kennedy didn't give a fuck about your.
No, just let it go, man. You know what I mean?
Didn't care about your blood sugar levels.
I remember going there and then to Starbucks. It was always the thing that I just couldn't remember the size of coffee I wanted. So I always said medium.
Yeah.
And if you remember in the early days, they used to try to correct that shit.
Yep.
Oh, we don't have medium. Do you
Kevin
mean?
didn't deal well with that.
No, fuck
Kevin,
off.
to this day, still, and he's one of those dudes like, I'll take a medium.
No.
With Kevin, I'll take a large.
I still say it too.
Is.
And it's not out to insult them. It's just that I really just need you to be normal people and fucking give me the medium-sized beverage or the
Dude,
large.
That's a step too far. Well, I remember that though, because I remember that was everyone's first introduction to Starbucks, right? I remember when the first Starbucks opened in Riverside. It was the Mission Grove Shopping Center, where I would later work as a pizza chef at Boompas. No longer there. Shout out to Boompas. No longer there.
A chain or local establishment?
It was a local establishment, and I think it's gone now. In fact, I know it's gone now.
Dude, you just stated that twice.
Yeah, no longer there.
It's no longer there. I remember seeing Starbucks coffee. Ooh, that's really fancy. And you walked in, and I was like, wow, I feel like so ignorant that I don't know anything about the world right now. And I'm seeing the entire world through Starbucks,
these are
right?
Ethiopian beans.
Whoa, Sumatra, where's that, right? Yeah. And everything was espresso based, right? You remember, and you didn't know what an espresso was. You barely knew what coffee was.
I still don't.
Espresso is
It's small cups of coffee.
Yeah, just little tiny cups of coffee for little tiny people.
I know what espresso is.
Depending
I don't know what
on
it is, though.
it's just a different bean. Yeah.
But
Isn't there no water in
I
it?
don't know what that means, though.
There's water in it.
There's still water.
It's not just sand.
There's also sand in it. No, I mean, I remember thinking like, oh my God, what is? And then, but I look back to my storied history with Starbucks, and I think to myself, wow, like those first drinks we used to get were basically just chocolate sundaes.
Yeah.
Remember those? Like it was always the mocha frappuccino.
Well, that was the thing. The Frappuccino
Frap was
was
like-
what I think really got Starbucks.
really gets everyone in
Because
there.
I agree with you guys. Starbucks was the, oh shit, it's a fancy,
Right.
there's a coffee shop dedicated. It's a chain that's everywhere.
Right.
And it was like,
They
I
don't
felt
mind
like
you
I
just
didn't
sitting
understand
around.
it. Exactly. It was a game changer. But I was a dumb kid. I wasn't going there. I was like, that sounds stupid. But then they're like, we'll give you Frappuccinos.
Right. This is just
caramel
sugar, but
Frappuccino.
yeah.
Right.
That became just like, oh, I'm going to save my money up to be able to get one of those bad boys because they were expensive.
They were fucking good.
Yeah.
And this
You're
is like
dropping $4-5 for one of those.
dude,
fuckers?
but you have to understand, like this is like me post high school. I think I really remember Starbucks being a thing for me the summer between my senior year of high school and freshman year of college. 18, I'm working as a fucking, I'm throwing dough every night, right? Taking that hard-earned money, putting it right back in to Frappuccinos, and me and my boys, because there's nothing else for an 18-year-old to do in Riverside, because couldn't drink, and I just stopped doing meth. So I was like, I'm gonna go and just drink Frappuccinos and smoke cigarettes outside. And that's all we did.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
all we would do. And that started me on that path for doing that up until about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Where I still drink a lot of coffee. I just don't smoke the cigarettes anymore.
See,
What about
I don't remember my first time at Starbucks because
How old are you?
23.
Yeah, I guess because you were like, why when you were a baby, your
Right.
mom probably just took you into a Starbucks.
She didn't. No, I mean, my parents aren't coffee drinkers. No one's a coffee drinker in my house. But it'd be like, hey, it's kind of cold outside. Let's get a nice little hot chocolate.
Okay,
And
sure.
Nice little hot
shout
chocolate.
the fuck out to Starbucks hot chocolate.
Yeah.
Unrivaled.
Oh, yeah.
It's good.
Unrivaled. Consistent. Any
The thing
Starbucks
is-
you go to, it's going to taste the same. And
Right.
that's amazing. Because there's some coffee shops, and when I say some, I mean pretty much all, that their hot chocolates are not hot chocolates.
No.
They're the deepest, darkest cocos.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like, it's
That's-
bitter.
no.
Help me.
Well,
What's
if
the
I
difference?
wanted-
What's the
if I
difference
wanted
between hot
something
chocolate
nasty,
and
it'd be
cocoa?
a fucking coffee. Hot chocolate tastes good. These
Okay.
like, I'm down for cocoa.
So
I
they
don't
used
wanna hate
to,
on
they
cocoa.
started doing these things called the drinking chocolate. Remember that? Like Starbucks
Oh, yeah,
tried
I've
to
seen
bring
that.
that.
Oh, yeah.
Starbucks said, hey, we've got perfect hot chocolate. Let's try to one up ourselves. And they brought in drinking chocolate, which is just a fucking melted chocolate bar. You were just drinking a melted chocolate bar. And after about 4 sips of it, your hands start to shake
Yeah, you just
and
can't
your
do it.
eyeballs go cross.
Yeah.
It's like 400 grams of sugar.
I mean, we were talking about, Frappuccinos and all that. I mean, we have to say something about the PSL.
Oh,
It's about to be back. It might
It
even
is. I
be
was
back.
thinking about that recently.
Yeah.
You are.
What, are you shaking your head there?
Yeah.
What are you shaking your head about?
I'm shaking my head about pumpkin spice in general.
In general?
In general.
In which
No,
way?
this is thin ice now.
And just like it's gone way too overboard.
Oh no.
But that doesn't take away from the fact that it's special.
Yeah.
Sure.
know, it's
well,
still good.
it's just like the green shakes at McDonald's.
Oh, Shamrock Shake?
Shamrock shakes. Yeah.
Well, those suck and always have.
Ken Shamrock was a god.
well.
He was really good. Ankle
And the
lock.
fact that McDonald's was like you were so good in the early days of UFC
WWE.
that we have to Ken Shamrock.
Yeah.
What Ken Shamrock? Wait, which one are we talking about?
We're both right.
We are both right. Wait a minute, there was a Ken Shamrock.
That was his
Ken
big deal.
Shamrock was so good that McDonald's. I was like, "Where's the bit going?" Right, that McDonald's had to make the Shamrock Shake for him, and that's fantastic, and it will live on forever.
But
They
it
said
sucks,
they're
man.
gonna make it forever.
Hey,
My
here's
favorite ice
mint.
cream, hands down, mint ice cream. Fucking love it. My
Just brush your teeth then. How about that?
I'm a big fan of brushing my teeth as well. But the mint chocolate ice cream, I'm so down.
Yeah.
This Shamrock Shake, it's in the name. It's a sham. It fucking sucks.
Wow.
That stuff.
But is it a
it's-
sham? Wow.
No, it's not. It's not. It's not.
Okay.
It's a shamrock in your stomach.
Is it a shake? Wait.
Shake. Wait, that's not even the right thing.
I know.
Well, I guess sham, wow, shake, weight are in the same
They're in
kind
the
of
same like
infomercial
infomercial
world.
category, right? But
Sound
they
the
don't
same.
sound.
But no, fuck the Shamrock.
like
But
what you did.
PSL, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Although admittedly they've gotten worse over the years.
Whoa.
They have.
They've gotten worse.
The pumpkin spice latte.
I
at
don't really.
Starbucks?
I mean, I'm not fighting. I'm not fighting. I'm down. I'm down.
It's the quality.
What's
of them-
happening?
They changed the mix of it. It's like it's a mix of being too sweet and just it's not. I feel like a lot of their kind of flavored drinks have gotten watered down. It's not the right word because they're not physically watered down, but just like the way they make them is more generic than it used to be. There used to be more love.
They're not putting the love in.
Yeah.
Is that what you're trying to say? I
They used to care more about the mix. There used to be more of an idea of what that
it's too
drink
big
meant.
now, though. I mean, think about how Starbucks is. It's so big, and this is why, like, this
big.
was a jokey kind of topic. But when you start really thinking about it, like, think about how much Starbucks has influenced like everyone's life and mainstream culture. It popularized that, like, the cafe, and it made me start drinking coffee. I mean, it's ubiquitous at this point, right?
I mean, well, you're talking about your high school and college experience. I know we've talked about this stuff a lot, but fundamentally, Starbucks changed my life. Might not be the right word to use, but it made my life.
Yeah.
Like so many of my relationships were at a Starbucks.
Started and ended at a Starbucks.
Talking at a Starbucks.
Yeah.
Just hanging out with friends because it's 24 hours and you're a kid and that's somewhere you can go. You know, it's like that is so important to my formative years and learning how to, what my dick was doing and how
Right.
to work it and all that
At a
stuff.
Starbucks. That's what
My-
they actually want you to do. That they want you to get a frappuccino and sit down with your dick and just figure out how it
Learn
works.
yourself.
Yeah.
My roommates and I in college, we would go get Starbucks all the time because we had a Starbucks on campus. That was part of our meal plan. That we could yeah. We would get it was like I think it was like
College is way better now.
venti was like a meal or something.
Okay.
I
Okay.
forget like the specifics of what it was, but
Where'd
it
you
was
go
like
to school?
in North Carolina.
Gotcha.
School called High Point University. Shout out.
Michael Jordan went there.
No.
No.
North Carolina.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that
Yeah,
part's
Karl
true.
Malone
that's true.
also went there.
Also true.
Ken
right.
Shamrock.
Both Ken
Really?
Shamrocks.
Wow.
No, there was one. Ken
I didn't
Shamrock.
even know.
Both Ken Shamrock. Was he in WWE also?
Yeah, that was his
How did I
thing.
not know this?
I don't know. I mean, it was during the Attitude Era of the '90s. He had an ankle lock. He's coming to snap, and then he'd like put you in the ankle.
Holy
lock.
shit, dude.
Yeah.
You know, you and I have a lot in common.
We
should
do.
be
There's a lot of
friends.
common ground here.
We should be
I didn't
friends.
realize. I vaguely remember that. Yeah, that was his shtick. That he was an MMA guy. Mm-hmm. But I just remember
and
him
Frank
more as
Shamrock,
being
yeah, his brother
Ken
fucked him.
Shamrock because he had a big. Here's how it goes with. No, I guess that's
How's
not
it go,
correct.
Greg? Tell me.
Well, Ken Shamrock, of course, makes me think of Steve Blackman, who was another guy who was in the same era of like, I'm gonna wear these like judo pants, he's
Yeah.
gonna kick or whatever. He had a kendo stick, and then that makes me think of when he was fighting X-Pac once. Steve Blackman was, and so then we called our friend John, and he didn't answer the phone, and we left a voice answer machine message where we narrated the fight for him.
Okay.
And then he called back, and he was like, or the next day he called back, he's like, my mom was furious at you guys. Like, why would you call and leave a racist message on the phone? And I was like, what do you mean, a racist message? She said you kept screaming about some black man getting beat up. And we're like, no, we were watching Steve Blackman fight X-Pac. And his mom didn't watch wrestling, so she didn't miss it.
Oh,
Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah, that makes total sense.
yeah.
I want Kevin to Google Ken Shamrock right now because I want to make sure I'm
Bring
not
up
mixing-
Ken Shamrock.
Can you bring up Ken Shamrock?
You Wikipedia page.
And make sure it's the same one I'm thinking of. The one I got.
So now, Tim,
Tito
are
Ortiz.
you don't seem as invested
I thought that was gonna
anymore
be the end of the topic.
in,
No,
well,
it's
now
Ken
we got to
Shamrock.
get Kim
No,
Shamrock.
yeah,
he
I'm
totally
invested
fought.
in.
And
Oh,
great
wow.
fights, Tito Ortiz.
Yeah, that's Ken Shamrock.
Remember that
Right?
motherfucker?
That's him.
Yeah.
Are you still investing in the Starbucks life? Because I don't see you living the Starbucks life as much as I see Nick living the Starbucks life.
Well, the thing is, Nick has always went to Starbucks before he comes to work. I don't do that.
Sure.
I would go to his second. I would join him for his second trip of the day. But back in the day, that was when we were in the apartment.
Right.
And it was like just getting out of the apartment.
Sure.
It was nice.
Right. Sure.
And in addition to that, it just like, allowed us to talk and like have something to do. We don't need to do that anymore. And like I'm fine with the coffee, and especially back then I was on the vanilla latte. I went from caramel frappuccinos.
Sure you did.
To the hot chocolate.
Okay.
To the when I was trying to learn what coffee was, I fucked with the white chocolate macchiato.
Oh.
Is what it was.
Wow.
And,
Didn't know we had a king of England over here.
That's
All right,
just-
jeez.
but I didn't know what the fuck it was.
Sure.
But then I eventually moved over to just the strict latte. Then I was like, fuck this.
Latte.
Went to the vanilla latte.
Wow, you've made it around that board.
I'm
I've
talking
never.
about 10 years of my life here. And these are my serious like steps. Ended at vanilla latte, but then it reached a point, Nick's like, Tim, you got to stop drinking this shit. And I was like,
It's pure sugar.
you're probably right. And then I just switched over to the iced coffees. And that's when I was like, all right, cool. But now I just have coffee.
See, for me, I think it would the only, I don't think we had one in Colombia that was like open 24 hours or anything like where we were going to. We weren't drinking coffee in high school, and so really when I think of Starbucks in the first, I think of it either being bitterly cold in the winter and I'm downtown or something and I want to go in and get a hot coffee or a hot cocoa or whatever. And then Craig Harris, when he used to pick me up to take me to IGN when we were carpooling at one point, he stopped there every day. He probably still is a huge addict to Starbucks.
Craig Harris probably, yeah.
But I would always get a strawberry frappuccino or whatever from there, and I would drink it thinking I was being healthy because I was like having strawberries in the morning.
Yeah,
it's like a smoothie.
that.
Yeah,
It's like when
dumb
you have
kids,
your
man.
yogurt in the morning, but you're like, let's just spruce it up with a little bit of Nutella.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah.
It's super healthy.
Got
whatever,
spruce
man.
and
It's great
spruce.
for you.
Fuck you.
I'm not
I mean,
judging.
once-
You just said you were judging
I'm
me.
gonna put a Care Bear on your face.
What I want to give a shout out to for Starbucks is I'm a huge fan of ice water.
Oh yeah, who
And
is
no
it?
one does it better. You go in there.
They have
"Can I
great
get
water."
A 20 ice water.
Yep.
Then you're walking out of this here with this freaking tub of ice.
Yeah.
For free.
It's fantastic.
It's
They
great.
used to not do that though. They would be like, "Sir, we can only give you a small, like a." Pico.
I'm at a
What the
point
fuck
though.
would
I'm
that-
like, I'll pay
I don't know
for
what's
it.
below grande.
Like, what do you need me to pay
Tall.
if I needed this?
Right.
Because we're out there. It's E3. We're hot. We're sweating. It's RTX. Whatever. I'm like, just give me the goddamn ice water. What do I need to do?
I wonder how many of these cups I have utilized in my entire life, and what I could have done with all of that.
I was gonna say, do you think about why didn't you just get
I
the
just started
reusable?
thinking about. I do have it. I just forget to bring it with me now. I have that one. Remember, I have a teal and with a pink straw.
Oh yeah, that was
It's
really
cool
cool
looking. Yeah, fuck that. I forgot. I totally
Okay,
forget
well,
to bring it with me.
that's no good.
Also, this size
That's where
doesn't
Starbucks
fit in
gets you.
cabinets. That's the
got you.
problem. So it's either I have to figure out like leave it out on my countertop, which I'm not doing.
Yeah, of course
or
not.
I buy 10 of these a week and we make a house afterward with them
Okay,
because we could.
okay. Matt,
Yeah.
what's your topic?
My topic is Movie Pass.
All right.
Movie Pass. So I know this was in the headlines. Was it like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, this is a
3
news
weeks
story.
ago.
They dropped
Right.
the price down
Right.
from $30 to $10.
Yeah, it was
whatever
like
is.
it started out at like $50, and I just kind of wanted to go over: is it too good to be true?
So can you catch us up on what exactly it is and
Yeah.
what it does and doesn't have?
Right. Okay. So Movie Pass, like we said, it started. It was a company started by one of the Netflix co-founders, and he started this. It used to be like $50 a month, I think it was, something like that, and where you could get a movie ticket free per day if you pay $50 a month.
Okay.
And so recently they dropped the price down to $9.95. Now the whole process of it, $9.95 a month for a movie ticket
Okay.
every single day.
to theoretically see unlimited movies.
You could
basically.
see
One a day.
yeah, you could see one a day.
But what are the restrictions? No new releases.
gotta
Or
be
still
a
I go
lot
to the
of
dollar
restrictions.
theater.
So-
Where are you
no,
getting
no,
me?
no,
So
no.
I kind of got some notes in
Give
here.
me the notes.
Give me the high. This
So
hot
just
level
how it
items.
works is it's an app. And so you go on the app and you say, I want to see, it's Spider-Man or Wonder Woman at 7:00. And so you go on the app. You have to be within, I think, like 100 feet of a theater or something like that.
Weird.
And yeah, so you have to be in the vicinity of the
Okay.
theater, and you say, okay, Spider-Man, 7:00, and then they also send you a debit card. It's a Movie Pass debit card, and so you pick your movie, then it's whatever the ticket price is, $12 or something like that. Let's just say a random price. So then you walk up to the counter and say, I'd like to see Spider-Man at 7:00. Like, okay, that's $12, and then you give them the Movie Pass debit card, and it already has the $12 loaded on. They swipe it, and you're on your way. Now, the only restrictions is that it doesn't work at like special theaters, like an Alamo Drafthouse, or
It does work at our Alamo.
It does.
Drafthouse,
I didn't know that it was all of them.
You can't go to IMAX or 3D.
Yeah,
Those are the
well, you
restrictions.
can go to IMAX or 3D. You just have to pay the upcharge of so if it's $16, you just have to pay the $4 difference, whatever it is. So that's kind of what the restrictions are. I don't know how it works for advanced, like if you wanted, so if like Thor tickets go on sale, in a couple weeks or whatever, and if you want to see that, if you want to see that first movie, I don't know how that works.
I don't think it does work.
Yeah, I don't think it does.
You have to be 100 feet in front of the
Right, you'd have to just like camp out in front of the theater waiting to get a ticket. I don't know. So I guess, so the question is about MoviePass is, it's $10 a month, but that's obviously not sustainable as a business model.
No.
And so
they're clearly trying to corner the market, similar to like what Amazon has done or Netflix
or like
has done,
like a
it's
Netflix to a blockbuster.
We're just going to take a loss for 5 years until we own this market,
right?
And then boom.
Fucking smart.
The question that I have is, what's that market going to look like? Because what it sounds like they're trying to do to me is make a lot of money on a dying medium. And I hate to say that because I love movie theaters, but every time you go to a movie theater these days, like I just started going back to the Kabuki after AMC bought them, and it is like. I mean, there's literally just like spots on the wall. It looks like they just tore shit down. Like, no, they're not even trying to make this a premiere theater anymore. No. Now it's just, hey, we show movies here, and it's a bargain bin, basically.
But I mean, that's the thing with theaters right now, right? Where it's like, Kevin still loves the Daily City. What is that one, Kev?
Century 20.
Century 20 or whatever. I mean, like, it's fine, and they have assigned seating now too. I don't want to go to a movie if it's not assigned seating, right? Yeah. I don't want it unless it is the boutique in quotes. Yeah. I get a lounger, I get to pick a seat, I get there.
That is now, I think, the majority of theaters.
Well, that's how and that's the argument I'm making. Where I don't know if it's dying as much as it's truncating, but I don't think it's going to go anywhere. Well, you still have that for a while.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong. I wish it would go away.
Whoa.
I wish it would fucking all just go, hey, Spider-Man's out today in theaters or on your, PlayStation 4 or whatever.
Well, that's the more interesting of these. I'm like, part of the reason why this has not really registered on my radar is because, well, for one, Tim hasn't told me I need to worry about it yet. So as soon as Tim figures it out, that means I'm way behind the curve, and then I need to start doing it. But it just seemed like before you had read all those things, I'm like, there's going to be something in there that's going to be too much of a pain in the ass to deal with. And the fact that you have to be close to a theater or you can't get the tickets you want when you want, that's a deal breaker for me. Having said that, I will continue to keep an eye on this. And once it is just as easy as I open an app on my phone, hit the thing I want, and the QRC, the ticket code comes up, and that's it, and it's just right there. Cool. Then I'll go to the theater, but I want to be able to do that 2 weeks ahead of time, and with my wife.
Right. What is the rationale behind the be with the 100 feet of a theater?
Well, I'm sure that's just to limit people from reserving tickets and then not using them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The idea.
Oh, because you don't pay with the debit card until you get there.
I think the audience for this is not people like us that are like, oh, we need to be there for Thor's premiere. It's for people like high school kids or for old people or the people that are just like, I'm at the mall. I guess I'll watch a movie.
Right.
I've never been that way, but
it's
I think
to get the people who don't go to a lot of movies, like all of us. I would imagine go to. We see you. I know you see a lot of movies.
Yeah,
so it's the people who
movies a month,
right. So it's not for those people. It's for the people who like, oh, it'd be a nice time. Let's all go out to the theater. Like people who aren't.
But I just feel like those people, like you're talking about people, like I guess. There's a variety of different types of people that go see movies, but I think of, okay, who's your target audience? The people that have families, right? Families with 5 or 6 kids. You got to have 5 of those accounts.
You have to have 5 accounts.
How is that going to work, right? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
to me.
it's not.
I don't think it's families. I think that it'd be couples.
You think it's
or
the college kids? You think it's the 18 to 25-year-old
high school kids? Yeah, it's
so
maybe. But
from my point of view, it's people at malls. They are the
even this. I feel like right now I wouldn't do it because I don't like these hoops. 100 feet, can't just do it all online. Yeah. Why not just give me in the app the debit card there?
It needs to be as easy as Fandango. Fandango has an app. You pop it open, you find your theater, you go boom. It says, "Is this the credit card you want to use?" Great.
For being a college kid, high school kid, whoever. Maybe I feel like the first time we got burned when we used to go to AMC Cantera every weekend to go see a movie when we were in high school, right? The first time we would have gone there and be like, we're all gonna see this, and four of the 5 of us got in or something weird like that to be like, oh well, fuck this, what a stupid system. I want to be able to make sure we're all. I don't like that tension. Because then we're back to the same tension of why I don't like fucking waiting in line for 3 hours to hope that I get the seat I want.
And it's the reason why movie theaters will eventually not exist on this big a scale. I mean, they've been diminishing for probably the last 10 years, but eventually 20 years from now, it will be a boutique experience similar to the Alamo Drafthouse, but it won't be the preferred medium, right? What you're talking about is even that little bit of Thor's coming out. in a month. Fuck, one of us needs to figure out how to get everyone tickets. How many tickets are we gonna get? I don't know. Who's gonna come? Is Giga coming? I don't know. Get an extra ticket for her just in case. Now it's like stressed. They're stressed, right? Like, Nick, is your wife gonna come? No, she doesn't leave the house after 6 o'clock. But like all of that is the reason why eventually there will have to be some other system that takes its place. And I don't think it's going to be on demand. I think it's going to be similar to whatever that thing is that you can get now or used to be able to get, where it's like you spend thousands of dollars and it's a box that sits in your living room and they just, everything that's new just goes straight to you. Apparently that's a thing. Have you guys heard of this?
I've heard of it, but I don't remember anymore.
I don't know if it's actually something people
No,
remember.
I just heard of it.
But yeah, it was obscenely expensive.
Yeah,
but
I mean, I remember
Right.
hearing about it years ago. It was like $50,000 or something like that.
Or something like
yeah,
that.
something like that.
Screenflix, yeah.
But of course,
Yeah.
I'm sure that has plenty of like restrictions and shit on
Right.
it too, where it's like you can't get every movie you want. That's
Right.
that's always the shitty thing, right? It's always the shitty thing about buying like the Disney Pass, right? Where like there's always blackout dates, and nobody likes the blackout dates.
Well, unless,
Those are
that's
fucking
the thing. There's
annoying.
the most premium one, and that's how they get you on this.
Right, exactly.
I think that the narrative about theaters diminishing and going away, I think that people like us want to believe that more than it's actually true. Like when you look at the just the sheer numbers, there's more money coming in, and granted, tickets are more expensive and all that. Doesn't matter. There's more money coming in, right? When you add 3D, when you add IMAX, when you add all these other upcharges, like every week a movie is breaking records for whatever's coming out. I look at any market that I've been familiar with, whether it's Austin or San Francisco or New York. Those are probably the three that I'm most intimately have
with.
knowledge of.
Yeah.
Like there are more theaters now than there's ever been. In my entire time growing up in San Francisco, I've seen 2 theaters close. I've seen 6 come up, right? And none of them they've only gotten bigger. They've only had more options and more things going on in them. So it's like, I feel like Netflix and all that stuff has kind of shifted our perspective, and like, we're like, oh, well, here's how we want things. But I think that the mainstream consumer isn't worrying about any of that stuff.
Sure. I mean, it does give people, families, things like that, outings, things to do, right? People do still need stuff to do, and people do want to get out of the house.
Well, I know that AMC, because along with this article, when this news hit, AMC, like the next day, they came out saying that we're against this. AMC is strictly against this.
They can't pull out of it. Like they
can't. And here's the thing. So what AMC is arguing is that it's going to change the movie industry for the worse. They feel, because if you think about it from AMC's perspective,
Theater chains always say shit like this.
Well,
though. They say
yeah.
the same thing when Netflix is like, yo, we're just gonna start making movies indirectly, and people are like, you can't do that. Like the big shit between Netflix and Amazon and movie theaters is that Netflix wants to do day and day releases,
right?
And they want to put them in theaters people want, and the movie theaters are like, no, we don't want you to do that.
Yeah, I'm not.
Like, fuck
I'm
you.
not,
Guess what? We're gonna win.
I'm not saying they're in the right. I mean,
Right.
obviously, it's a dying industry. But what AMC is arguing is that they have this $9.95 for a month for a whole year. That's what MoviePass has set their price. They're like, we're going to have this price for a year. But AMC is worried about is that, all these people are going to sign up, and when it fails, when it probably will, because it's just not a sustainable price point, is no one's going to go to the movie theater anymore because no one's going to want to pay a $12 ticket anymore. So that's what AMC is arguing, is that, well, they just paid $9 a month to see every kind of movie, but now they don't want to go to the theater to see a $12 ticket. So they're arguing that it's just going to shift the whole dynamic of it. And so what the biggest picture is, well, it's obvious that this has to be too good to be true, because how can a company survive by practically losing money, like you had said?
Yeah.
And so what's behind that is, right before this happened, a data analytics company called Helios and Matheson, they're a data mining company. They bought like 51% of MoviePass. And so a theory is that what they're going to do is, now they have data on everyone who's buying movie tickets. What time you're going, when you're going, what movies you're going to see on what day.
Household income,
Right,
location of
who's
theater, blah, blah, blah.
buying tickets, where, in what region of the country, and what they're probably going to do is gather it all up and say, hey, Disney, hey, Fox, hey, Warner Brothers, how much do you want for this information to where you can market, when you should release movies, when, where, all that kind of stuff.
And I think
that's
Fandango do that though. Like, doesn't Fandango know everything about you? Aren't there already places out there that have that information?
true, but
that's also more representative of actual moviegoers, not just the people that are subscribing for this type of pass.
So,
right?
but your argument, or the argument
I
these
mean,
theaters are making, is that this is just a play for the information to sell.
And
Right.
but you figure too that like based on what we're talking about of what this is different information than Fandango, right? Like I'm Fandango, I would do this all the time, but we're saying this pass is for people who aren't motivated to go see movies.
Right. These are the people who don't use Fandango. What MoviePass is trying to do, like what we were talking about before, is it's not for the Fandango people, because if people used Fandango, they'd be using it all the time. But obviously, there are people who don't use Fandango. And so I guess this is trying to reach those people, but I don't know who those people are. You know, if they're trying to reach an audience of people that don't normally go to the movies, then those studios can then go.
The thing is, like, what this kind of reminds me of a little bit, and it is the same reaction I had when I think it was Nate Ahern was the first person I remember hearing, and he was like, "Hey, man," I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go to a Blockbuster or something like that and get a TV." He's like, "Why are you doing that, man? There's this new thing called Netflix, and you just sign up for it, and they send you a DVD, and it takes like 4 or 5 days to get to you, and then you have to remember to send it back." And I was like, "That sounds horrible. That sounds terrible."
Yeah,
that can't be right though. Nate,
I remember
you met him at IGN, right?
Yeah, but Nate worked there like.
Yeah, but I was using
10 years
Netflix 2001, 2002.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Netflix didn't become relevant in my life
really?
at all to anybody
To like
until
2007, 8.
Yeah.
Well, it's when they got close to going digital that I remember everybody was.
Oh, I just remember, and that's what I'm saying, right?
There was like 3-4 years.
Maybe it wasn't Nate. I don't know. But
Sorry, I was just trying to give a time frame too.
The point was during my early tenure at IGN, that's when I started seeing the DVDs pop up on people's desks or their console tables at their homes, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And those little
Hey,
slider things.
Send them back. Yeah.
And I remember seeing that. I'm like, God, that's one extra step. Like I already can't take back the Blockbuster videos, and I like. But I guess it's easier just to drop that in the mail, yada yada yada. I'm like, it's a pain in the ass. I got to go online, and then there's some of the DVDs. Remember, you couldn't get. You have to order them, and they're like, this is not available. And I'm like, just go to the Blockbuster right there, right? And so like that's just me. That speaks to my psyche of like I am a late adopter of everything. I didn't have a fucking iPhone until like iPhone 4. Right. I will not. I'm always a wait and see kind of person.
Right.
I want this to succeed. I want new technologies like this to come in and revitalize the theater industry because I think it needs it. I still stand by the fact that the best experience for Thor Ragnarok is going to be all of us going to a theater and seeing it together, and then maybe Greg goes fucking aggro like he's done the last 2 times we've gotten to see movies on someone, right?
The last 2 times?
I made one of those up.
Hey,
but the one time was so intense that I was like,
Doctor Strange,
I'm scared of you forever.
I'll fuck that kid up. Don't worry.
It was like an adult male. He was like, "Sir, that is rude." You're like, "Wait,
no." He went, "Seriously?" I'm like, "Yeah, put your fucking phone away and don't tweet during the movie." And I thought you'd have my back, but you threw me under the bus immediately.
I was about to rear naked choke that motherfucker, and both of us could go to jail for assault.
Hey guys, I was gonna say,
you have it.
I'm on the same boat as Nick, where like I really want this to work, but on the opposite side, where like I signed up for it last week. Last weekend, yeah. Unfortunately, some of the bad things is it doesn't seem like it's scaling well with all the people, because like you sign up for it and like you get the app and it's really, really fucking broken.
Yeah.
So like you have to wait for the card to come in, but you can get e-tickets. So it's like, and for like every once in a while when I go to look at the card they're supposed to send you, I have the last 4 digits, so I entered it. But it won't let me print out, like, it won't let me buy the.
So this is what I'm talking about.
Can I see the app? Do you have the app right now?
Yeah,
so you can on your way over here. Can you open the window?
Every other time it doesn't work though.
That's the kind of shit that I don't like, right? And that's why I'm a late adopter of everything. I want the technology when it's perfect, when it's so fucking good that Tim's like, "Why are you not on this? Why don't you use Venmo?"
Until we start using it, it never will.
Venmo? And now I use Venmo.
Venmo is a good example, though. There's been so many apps like that of paying money and stuff, and there must have been good ones, but Venmo is the one that really connected with people where it's like, it's ubiquitous now.
See, for me, PayPal was that, but everyone's like, nah, Venmo's better.
That's what I'm saying. PayPal's the internet version. And yeah, you can use PayPal on your phone.
Yeah, you still can.
But Venmo is that app.
So to me, if you just said, Nick, use Venmo 2-3 years ago, how would I have reacted?
You would have not done it.
Go ahead, check.
I mean, how badly broken was Venmo 2 years ago?
Oh, I don't think did it exist?
But
I don't know. I don't even know.
It's
See,
going to be that easy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
This seems like it's. We said 100 feet, right?
Yeah. 100,
Well, this is
100 meters.
Oh, okay. How? What?
I mean, that's 300 feet. It's not that much of a.
But I mean, like right now we're getting Alamo Draft House downtown.
It'll show you. You just can't book them unless
can't
you
book
get the guy.
copy that.
And I'm not entirely sure. I think some places that have e-ticketing will let you book them early. The only problem is there is no. Yeah, see that those aren't buttons.
Now Andy Cortez.
Wait, are they
just came
buttons
in.
or are they just logos
they're
indicating?
I don't know
buttons.
if that's because
I
he's
think that they're
bored or he wants to
logos,
say
but
something.
I don't know what they mean.
You got your loyalty programs in here? I don't know.
Over here, big old Andy
It
Cortez.
only has one.
We should definitely
random
not talk over each other, though.
Well, I mean, we're talking about the app.
Let me tell you about my problem with Postmates.
Jesus, God.
Thanks, Andy. Thanks, Andy.
That's cool.
Andy Cortez. Everybody.
Just to
What's your problem with
I had my first Postmates experience last night.
Oh god.
We ordered 4 Chinese like entrees, right?
Sure.
They send 1 correct one, 3 are incorrect, right? Could be the restaurant's fault, right? Doesn't have to be the person from Postmates.
No, it's probably Postmates.
Well,
It's probably
either way.
Postmates, though? Did they put the order?
I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, right? So they, broccoli beef is the only thing that came correctly.
Oh, that's good.
There was no steamed rice. There was no kung pao
man.
chicken. There was nothing that we ordered, right? So email them, took a picture of the stuff that they sent us. I was like, hey, you sent us all this wrong shit. And they're like, all right, we'll give you the money for the stuff that we didn't send you. And I'm like, okay, cool, but you still sent us stuff that we didn't want. So how about like, this is my first time using you all, pretty bad first impression. They're like, yeah, sorry, that's our refund policy.
What'd you want? You wanted more money, or you want the food for free?
No, they sent us free food, right?
Yeah,
they sent us free food, right? Which is totally cool. But like, you also inconvenience us because we didn't get the food that we
But what
fucking
did you want?
Like,
what do you want them to do?
Well, we've gotten the wrong order from Uber Eats before, and Uber Eats is like, "Hey, we'll comp you the whole fucking thing. Here's a $10 credit.
Okay.
Here, just something. Keep, don't."
So they gave you your money back
sucks.
and sent the replacement food, or no replacement
no,
food?
no replacement food.
You
No
said we did
replacement
get free
food.
food.
No,
I was
but
just
then
confused.
no, the
like,
original food.
We got to keep the food that we didn't want. Right?
Gotcha. Okay,
I don't
cool.
fuck with Postmates.
How did that turn out though? Was it good? The food you didn't want, huh?
I mean, no, it was like a soup or something. I was like, no.
It seems like such a good idea, but every time I do it, at the end, I'm always like, I shouldn't have done that. I'm never gonna do it again. But then a couple weeks later, I'm like, I don't want to cook right now.
Seamless
so
is the
let's
only
look
one I
on.
fuck with because it's not random people just doing random things. It's like these are people dedicated to these restaurants, and it's still.
But aren't all
I
those
also-
things
I also
failing?
don't
Aren't
like
all the food
Seamless
delivery
either.
things failing.
Well, I think the
Yeah,
thing about
financially.
Seamless that makes sense is that it's not people paying random other people. It is the restaurant. It's just a way for you to find a bunch of delivery
Places that deliver.
places
So
that
it's actually
Right.
a person who's paid by like Amici's to deliver the Amici's pizza.
Yes.
I love
That
Amici's
makes sense.
pizza.
That makes sense.
I like
Wait,
Postmates
real
for the
quick,
most part.
guys, just to go back to the movie pass thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm really excited. Like, I don't know when I'm gonna get my card, and if I don't get it this month, I'm not gonna be that disappointed. If I don't get it next month, I'm gonna cancel it. But like,
I want to check in on this.
Yeah, that's
After
the thing.
after like a month or two of you using it, I want you
I-
to come back and let's review this thing.
I really want to make it a goal to go to the movies at least twice a week.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
if you
'Cause
say
that's
it's
the
worth
thing,
it,
yeah.
I'll try it. I'll
Yeah.
give it a shot.
I'm trying to get Paula to do it. I want to go with her once a week on Fridays. To the
From
movies.
your house,
Yeah.
can you do it? Because you live close to a theater.
Oh no, much too far away from
Okay.
the house.
But like,
But-
so for instance, like here's the thing. Yeah, Thor, no, right? But there's a couple indies in the theater right
sure,
now that I
right.
want to see, and I guarantee if I walk up there, I'm gonna be able to get a ticket.
You'll be able to
I'm
get a
not gonna
ticket.
worry about getting a
100%.
pre-ticket, right? And I'm still, so I think that's what it could work for, right? There's like Ingrid Goes West.
Right.
There's Patty Cakes. There's these movies that I don't think they're gonna be tuning people in. Tim, it's gonna be a good
I have
movie.
such beef with Patty Cakes.
I'm telling you, it's gonna
Why?
be a good movie.
You love rap. This is a rap
This
movie.
looks so fucking not good.
She wants to be a rapper, Tim,
Whatever.
and you should support that.
The thing about this movie pass thing is, to me, it really seems like just business 101 of, all right, here's this Netflix guy that understands, how
Dominating
to look at a
the-
community and how to dominate vertical
Market share.
and market share and all that stuff. But what it comes down
Synergy.
to, it's a numbers game of looking at it and just being like, how are they making money or whatever.
Right.
They obviously, and especially if they're working with the data
Data mining
analysis
company. Yeah,
people,
right.
they understand that if 100,000 people sign up and actively use it, and they're going to lose money because they're only paying $10 to watch what would an active user do?
I'd say at least 2 movies. It doesn't matter. You're still losing money.
A month.
Right.
Yeah, but let's even say once a week, 4 movies a month, right? So they're losing that much money. They must have a guarantee that they're making enough money off the people that forget they signed up and are just gonna keep
Oh, I'm
coming
sure
back.
there's
Well,
that.
yeah, there's that.
But I'm sure that is a big enough percentage that they're profitable from this, and it might not be hella, but it's enough to keep it
I don't think it's
going.
that. I think it's the same model that the guy probably used when he started Netflix, which was, hey, we're just going to start and take a huge loss until we put blockbusters out of business, and that's what happened.
But I mean, that's what I'm saying, though.
Yeah.
I feel like that's where you
Yeah,
start.
yeah.
But
And
I
then
guarantee that
they've
like
got
Netflix
investors and they
was
probably have a
still,
5-10
it was
plan.
still good.
I imagine that their plan is to get enough people where they can dictate the prices of the movie
Right.
tickets and lower it for themselves.
Well, I don't know about that. I think what their plan might be is that it's probably dying. It's not profitable, but it's just they want it to be so popular. Like everyone's using it. Everyone's using MoviePass to buy their tickets now, but they just can't. But they're not quite there yet being profitable. But then I think they go to each movie theater chain and say, hey, let's strike up a deal.
Yep,
let's work together. You cut us in on some of your profits, give us some of that, and we'll.
Well, that's the thing too.
I totally don't agree. I think it's the opposite side. I think that this is I think that they're like, yo, we can make money off of this.
See, I don't.
Let's do it.
The weird thing is, you have to understand how movie theaters themselves make money, and it's not off the tickets. They take a big loss in the concessions.
Right. It's
all concessions. So it's a matter of just getting butts in the seats, which is why this might actually be a viable plan for these people. It is about volume at that point. It's a volume play. It's not, so they need a ton of people, and this is how you do it. You got to operate at a loss until you get that big base of users, and then you're ready to rock
It's a fascinating thing. It's very much like we talked about GameStops and EBs, like a new program of or the Australian one, the one they're doing out in Philadelphia, I believe, of $10 a month, you get unlimited used games, come in, trade them out. And how I did that at Blockbuster back in the day for movies and for games.
I remember that.
Just didn't take the movies back.
And it was that thing. Whereas if granted, I know summer's just ended, but if it was summer and I was a junior, senior year of high school or whatever, waiting for whatever's next, I would totally do this and go in the middle of the day. Me and my friends get all your friends get this, and every week you go to a Friday noon movie or whatever.
I think it's a great concept. I think it's the same thing we talk about when we talk about comics, right? Where it's like, wouldn't it be so much fucking easier if we paid $10 and get every goddamn Marvel comic you possibly could get?
It's just
there's restrictions on that too, and it's super.
The thing about this one for me is just that I don't live super close to a theater. So if I'm going, right now going to a theater is a cool. I like going to the theaters because we go to the good ones now, and because honestly, just about
to be fair,
the only ones are the good ones,
great,
and that's the thing, right? Of like, if I'm gonna go to the Alamo, it's for a date night, it's for a movie I really want to see, and it's already across town from where I am.
Off that Bull and Bear, and you're getting a little old fashioned.
You goddamn right, I am. Yeah, get in there, maybe get that pizza port they got. I like that one a lot. Go in there, watch it, but it's like that's such an excursion that I'm never gonna make that giant trek to be like, all right, let's hope they got the seat I want or whatever.
Right.
But the thing is, we have a movie theater a mile north and 1 mile south.
Yeah,
so
we've gone there 0
theaters.
times.
Yeah, that's true. But like now, if we have a movie pass, I could see us all being like, "Oh yeah, fuck it, let's go."
Let's just go.
I've wanted to see movies there before.
Yep.
I like seeing movies. See, I love the nostalgia of seeing movies in an old school theater. I love it. I love it.
I wish we lived in that world. I just don't think we live in that world.
I don't think we do
can't even all get our shit together and go to dinner with him tonight.
Well,
we can't all play video games at night.
And I wonder how many people actually do still live in that world. That'll be the most fascinating thing.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Just to put a bookend on this.
Please do, sir.
I thought it was interesting.
You're killing this topic. This is great. You came very prepared.
Much better than the Starbucks topic.
Right.
If I'm being honest.
I didn't have much input on that. I think that's why.
Does Hunter Pence go out there and hit a home run every time? I don't know. I don't watch baseball. But
I'm like, you asking me for real? Because I'd have to Google that.
When I was looking up stuff, I thought it was pretty interesting of how we're talking about Netflix and Blockbuster and how Netflix overcame Blockbuster. But when they were competing with each other, Blockbuster had the opportunity to buy out Netflix, and they passed on it. And so what I found interesting was that way back when MoviePass was doing a pilot program, they were able to do it with AMC, and AMC passed on it. And so I just thought it was kind of...
That would be interesting.
What would be interesting, right, is if you take it internal. If AMC's like, all right, we got to fight fire with fire.
Right.
Let's do it. We'll do it at this price, and it will be
very interesting.
Let's book it on the spot. Let's do this. It's a reward program. Maybe the tickets cost more, but by a little bit.
It is you can't see it the first week it's out kind of thing, right? Where it's like, hey, you can see Thor Ragnarok,
but you have to wait
subscription, but you got to wait 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking the opposite, where they're like, if you promise to see every movie here, not promise, but you know what I mean?
Right.
$10, you can get them everywhere. It's the opposite of this. Don't be close. As soon as you hit, because that's my thing is I feel like they could get around it if AMC makes its own app, which they already have. But they
Patreon.com/AMC. You can get it a week early.
Exactly. But I mean, in their app, they're like, I want to see Thor and I want to see it on launch night. I click it, I do it, boom, and I pay right there. I see.
Seats there. But then the problem becomes,
I'm caught up now.
What happens if 30 people don't show up to the theater, right? There has to be some level of penalty there.
You're right.
And especially nowadays when everyone's looking forward to the first weekend it's out, that's where all like the headlines are.
Right. I overlooked
These guys do that stuff. It just didn't take off. AMC has its own program.
Well, they have reward programs, right?
No, what's the other one?
Cinemark.
There's AMC and Cinemark, yeah. They've tried, like 2 years ago, they tried doing these movie pass things. It wasn't $10 a month.
Interesting.
But there was things that you get it per month and you can see movies, and yeah, there was random little restrictions.
I'm just saying this. Here's the future I
lay it on me. Lay the future on me.
Because I do love movie theaters. I do. But there are 90% of the movies I just like patty cakes right now. I would love to watch that when I go home. When Disney launched their own app. You know, they got their own streaming service that Disney's going to do is all this Disney stuff. How far off are we from it just being the new Star Wars comes out, boom, it's there on Disney streaming service?
I think we are very far.
I know, but I want it to be closer.
So.
I want it to be closer.
That's what I'm saying.
How far are we from it being on a Virgin America seat day one?
Even farther.
I mean, that's the thing. If we can, like, let's all be honest, and I have to be honest about this too. And it sucks for me to say. It fucking sucks because I like movie theaters to me are like church. I love going in. It's so sad now that when I'm leaving movie theaters, I'll like clean up my own shit. Like before when I was a kid, you just like fuck it, you kick the popcorn over on. Like,
I'm there
fuck
too,
you
it's
kids.
weird.
Now I'm like taking care of these theaters.
You
I know
stand up and you put on your AMC vest and start picking everything.
Yeah, like someone left the bottle the other day. I was like, I'm gonna take the fucking bottle. I'm gonna save this kid some time because this kid, you know, whatever, he's not gonna be here forever.
The usher guy's like, hey Nick.
Yeah, I'm like, what's up? What's up, Norm? And having said that, though, Thor Ragnarok comes out. We all go over to watch it on your 80-inch TV. I'm in. That's going to be a better experience for me, probably.
I mean, it would be better, but
it would be better. It's just easier. It's like it's just the people I want. And if anyone
exactly,
has
there's not some fucking asshole
checking his fucking phone the entire time.
Hey, I got some fucking kids screaming.
I'm on Instagram checking out Jen Setzler's butt. No, fuck you, dude.
Well, that's you.
Look at
that. Tim.
Yes.
My topic is about movies, so I want to break them up. Okay. You go with yours.
Oh, okay.
What's your topic,
Sorry,
sir?
Wasn't prepared for that.
Why not? You knew it was. I was just giving you an introduction of why I went. No, I mean I told you early on you were topic.
Why don't we go for the double?
Hey, first off, fuck your bitch and the click that you claim. This comes from
Come equipped with game. You claim to be a player, but I fucked your wife.
On Twitch, or not Twitch, Twitter. He says, show topic, does a music video make or break how you feel about a song? I thought this was very interesting. Taylor Swift's "Look What You Made Me Do" video came out earlier this week at the VMAs. It made its debut. A couple weeks ago, Katy Perry's "Swish Swish" came out, and that was on the internet. It happened.
That was the thing that happened.
That was the thing that happened. I kind of want to use those two as the jump-off points.
And those are phenomenal comparisons.
But before we get into that, just to answer the question around the table.
Can a music video make or break a song for you?
Yeah.
Yes.
I would say yes.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. Has it though?
I don't know if it could break the song for me.
Right.
Well, I think for me personally, I think there's a great example here with Taylor Swift and Katy Perry, where I had heard that, you know, when Taylor Swift's song dropped, I hadn't heard Katy Perry's song, I hadn't seen the video. Taylor Swift's song drops, I listened to it, I'm like, oh, this is good, this is fine. I don't hate it, I'm not, you know what I mean? It is telling as a big Taylor Swift fan, right, that I listened to it that first night, I was like, that wasn't, it's not her best work, but I don't understand why everybody's like fucking freaking out on the internet about it. And the next morning I woke up and came in and listened to it a bunch of times in a row, and I was like, all right, I'm feeling it.
Yeah.
But I haven't thought about it since then, or I haven't heard much about it. I know it isn't. I haven't been drawn to listen to it again or anything. I'm like, all right, good. I can't wait for the fucking album, can't wait for the tour, all that jazz. Katy Perry, on the other hand, I'm sorry. So Taylor, that's how I feel about Taylor Swift. Watch her video today because I'm just way behind on everything. Everybody's Golf came out, sorry. And I jump in and I watch this video and I'm like, all right, yeah, this is a fine video. It's the same thing where I'm like, it's good. I'm not a music video person much. I feel in my old age. I used to be, a kid. It was a big deal.
I'm more of a music video person than I ever have been because of YouTube.
Oh yeah, well they're right there on demand. But then it was I haven't heard Swish Swish and I haven't seen Swish Swish, so I watched the Swish Swish music video, and my hatred of that music video now means that I don't remember the song I heard anymore. I remember watching the music video and being mortified by the video, but saying this song isn't that bad. This is a pop song, whatever. But I can't remember anymore the song. I just remember seeing fucking Terry Crews bopping around and Katy Perry slamming jamming.
See, I'm right there with you, right? Where I'm like, I would have heard that song and probably been like, whatever, it's a fine song. And then 6 months from now, if I would have heard it so fucking much that I would have been like, okay, I kind of like that song. Now that I've seen the video, it makes me never want to listen to that song ever.
We're enemies now.
Now, granted, 6 months from now, I will love the song because that's just how I do. Like I will have heard the song so many times. Like, fine, it doesn't matter because I've only seen the music video one time. Taylor Swift's song, I heard that song and I was like, this is a cool song, right? See the video, it's fuck hot. Makes me like the song more.
Yeah. Now, and a quick time out in case you missed the morning show that day. The fact was Nick came in, and of course Nick had Rip Van Winkled through the internet fervor over the Taylor Swift thing, so he didn't know the song and he didn't know any.
I knew that something was dropping.
He came in blank slate.
Yeah, I knew she was dropping something. We saw the Serpentale thing from like a week ago. I guess that was a clothing line now. She's doing some shit like that.
Well,
what was the fucking teaser?
Well, in the snake. That was the merch
in the video, right?
It's not a merch.
No, it's not.
The whole
it's the theme.
I mean, there's a whole bunch of. I mean, they are selling snakes on the store and stuff, but like it was whatever. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
No, you came in blank slate. You listened to the music and you're like, it's great.
Every scene had a snake in it.
Didn't catch that.
All right. There were snakes everywhere.
There was a jaguar.
She was sitting on the
I saw the snake with the throne
came up. Yeah,
and I get it.
A lot
but
of snakes. She's a snake. Sneaky snake.
Cool.
I think the biggest thing about music videos for me is that if I like really like a song, And then I watched the music video, and it just kind of, I'm like, oh, this music video is going to be great because I love this song.
Yeah.
And then it's just not there. Then it's kind of like, oh, maybe I don't like this song that much.
Do you have any examples of that, though? I know I'm putting you on the spot, but like, try to think about it.
I think the most recent one was Ed Sheeran's "Shape of You," where like it just I really like the song, but then the music video really had like nothing to do with that song. And I was like, this doesn't make sense. He was like training to be like a boxer or something.
I
don't know. Like,
and
and
fight
it's just
the internet. One video that stands out to me is a song that I would have been like, that's a cool song. Seeing the video makes me fucking remember it forever.
Kiss from a
Turn
Rose.
Down for What? Remember that?
True.
Wow,
Where it goes,
that's a great
boom, and it goes down,
example.
it keeps going down, and I was like, as the video
The
kept
boobies
going, I
dance,
was like,
the
this
dick
is a
dances.
perfect
Wow.
fucking video. This, because the song's generic as fuck. It's a dope beat, don't get me wrong, but it's wah, 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 wah. That's all it is the entire time.
Again with Get Low.
Yeah, and then yeah, which is
Same
yeah.
song.
Yeah, so like Turn Down for What, you see that and you're like, okay, this is a fun way to use this. This is what I feel like they were trying to do with Swish Swish, but then someone along the way got so fucking high that it just derailed.
Yeah.
I
They
just
put
don't
way too many
understand
cameos
who
in
the
it.
audience for Swish Swish is. It's an interesting song because
not
when
millennials.
When you look at pop music, right? Both Katy Perry and Taylor Swift, it is just they are probably two of the best examples in current music landscape that are just the epitome of produced
Yep.
pop artists, where it's
Yeah.
just like this is going to be things. There's going to be manufactured beef. There's going to be all the shit that everyone always talks about, right? And when you look at it, I think there's two very different songs, two very different videos. Taylor Swift's song is by the fucking numbers. It is just the most like,
pop song.
It's going to be this chord, then this chord, then whatever. It's like there's a science to it. Katy Perry's is all over the place in a weird way where it's like there's no consistency in the song and it feels very disjointed. Even just the music.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go out on a limb and say that song is a bad song. Like,
Yeah,
I just
it's
don't
not
know if it's
good.
ever really going to catch on. Like, I know I'm saying that it won't, and again, 6 months from now, I'm like, swish, swish, but whatever. I'll be singing my fucking song in
I
my
don't know
car
that you will.
when no one else is
And
looking at me.
that's the thing. Katy Perry's an enigma in a lot of ways because she's been
I
around
usually
for
like
a
her
long
music, though.
time. But her last couple hits that singles she's put out for this new album have like not really hit the mark because they're weird. They're like trying to go away from pop and they sample a lot of like late 2000.
Yeah, what was the song in this one that like it just randomly cuts to a different song for a second?
Oh,
and
well,
then
that's
cuts
like
back?
some internet meme bullshit.
Okay, fair enough.
But
when she does the fall.
But it sampled,
right.
the song samples the same sample that Lil Wayne and Nicki Minaj's and Drake's Truffle Butter sampled.
Oh,
like,
that song
a
is
year
so.
or two
That's
ago.
a
Yeah.
fucking hot video.
But there's like this trend of
Is that the one about eating the booties?
Yeah.
You got keep it
yeah.
clean. What was it? I forget the line. Go ahead. Sorry.
whatever. There's a trend right now in pop music to go back to like 2008 to 2012 house music and kind of just taking the beat and just putting it out again. Like Drake's One Dance that came out recently
yeah.
was the exact same thing. And so they do that, and the Katy Perry new song does that, but it's like we just heard another song with the same thing, and this one feels so weird where it's like it seems like the sole purpose of this song existing was to be a diss track to Taylor Swift and for Nicki to talk shit about Remy Ma. And it's like, okay, cool. I get that I see all these pieces coming together. That video happens, and it's like, all right, there's headlines everywhere talking about cameos and whatever, how much of a fucking mess it was. That was the whole point of that song existing, was to just to make news, you know?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing I feel like with Taylor Swift, but she's good at making news. But you're also getting a halfway decent song, and I think the video is stunning.
Yeah.
It's all over the fucking place. It doesn't make really any sense. I don't know really what's going on. I have to watch it 5 or 6 more times, but I liked it. It was
But
cool. It
that's
was entertaining,
designed.
and it was fun. Yeah.
It's designed in a way
Yeah.
where all of that is meant to be the experience.
Sure.
Where it is meant for the hardcore Taylor Swift fans to look at it and be like, oh my God, I loved it. But then to actually in their heads be like, oh fuck, what was going on? I need to look more into this.
Yeah.
Thankfully,
Like
CNN wrote an article about it.
Great.
Breaking it down.
Breaking
Yeah, I
it
mean, I
down.
feel like it's
That's
one of
what I
those videos where you look at it and you're like, is she trying to be deep or am I just getting trolled right now? Like, did someone actually have thematically like a start to finish plot, like, or a start to finish document that was like, here's how this is going to flow thematically, and this is the message that we're trying to put, and these are the deep layers of it, and this is the A, B, and C story plot? Or was it just like this? Then she's gonna smash a gold Lambo, and there's gonna be a fucking Jaguar sitting next to her, and it's gonna be hot, and then it's gonna break down, and she's gonna do this move. You know when she does that shit?
Yeah.
She like sprawls it out and goes down. Boy Orgy did it first.
Yeah,
and just throwing it out there.
Boy did it first. I mean, the thing
suck
about
at
this video is
T-Swift.
there was nothing that was just like, oh, and then this, and then this. Every single
was all
thing.
on purpose.
By the way, I
Yeah.
like this video better than the last one I remember her making, which is the one where she's running around the mansion, like yelling at the guy.
Blank space.
Blank
Wildest
space.
Dream.
I didn't like that video. I was like, okay, it's kind of a boring video.
Wildest
This one
Dreams was in the jungle.
See, I just like this one better because it had, again, Crash Lambo, fucking Jaguar, like snakes and shit. There was like she did the thing with the fucking Thriller callback. It was dope. It was a cool video.
Yeah, it was cool. It's definitely not my favorite of her videos, but I do think that it's brilliantly designed, and I got to give them credit for that.
I think that video works perfectly for that song because of what the song is all the digs that she's making at all those other artists, and that's pretty much what that music video was.
Was it the
just
digs
shows
she's
it.
making at the other artists, or was there also a commentary of all the digs people are making at her?
It was both.
And yeah, at the end, that was
together.
Because
right.
at the end was like, yeah, these are all the people that you thought I have
Well, that's-
been,
Well,
and
what-
now I'm just a snake person.
She's killing her reputation.
And all the other people, though. It's not all just Taylor's lined up at the end. Like Kim
Maybe this is
Kardashian's
deep,
there,
man.
other
Maybe
shit.
I'm
It
just
is.
That's what I'm
shallow.
saying. There's
It's
a lot
so
of shit
deep.
Maybe I'm
going
just
on.
shallow, guys.
Where Swish Swish was just a
Here's
Space
bunch
Jam
of-
ripoff.
It was a Space Jam ripoff with a bunch of cameos that I don't even understand who the
I don't
intended
know who those fucking
audience
people-
was.
I don't know who half the people are.
Well, half the people. I mean, there was the girls from Glow were in it. There's the Stranger Things kid. There's a bunch of random ass.
that
like,
was the Stranger Things kid.
football players and
Here's
shit.
the
that
thing.
I'm not really familiar.
Well,
with.
the Gronk,
99%
the only thing I laughed at was the Gronk of when does football
But
season
then there's
start.
a bunch
That's great.
of like internet memes that like. I don't even. There's not one audience for those things, so it's not like it's like, oh man, if you like YouTube, it's a bunch of YouTube stars.
Right.
It's like, oh,
It's like if I were gonna
it's
make
the
that video
kid-
and I just Googled what was popular all like last year's
Yeah.
and like memes, and then I saw a list and I was like, let's just do all of these. Let's rip it
Absolutely.
off.
The kid that won.
It was
the-
missing that je ne sais quoi.
The kid that tweeted at Wendy's and was like,
Yeah.
He was in there?
like- yeah, and he's sitting there eating nuggets, and it's like, really, you're gonna get that dude?
I think this video was what you were talking about. What Taylor Swift's was of like, hey, let's just like, and then this happens, and then this happens.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
that
it's like
sounds-
let's
Oh, no,
just
like,
throw
least
shit
they were
at a wall and
unabashed
see what
about it. Like,
sticks.
Taylor Swift, I assume someone was like, hey, this is gonna have a deeper meaning with it.
Right.
Swish Swish was literally that, like, oh, you know what else would be funny if we did this?
Right.
And there was at no
biggest
point was someone
crime-
like,
And if
that
his
doesn't make
head
any sense, it doesn't
explodes.
matter.
The
It doesn't
biggest
make-
crime
yeah,
of that
why does his head
video
explode?
is that think of the budget that must have went into that,
A
right?
lot, millions.
A fucking shit ton of money.
Terry Crews alone
Nicki
probably cost
Minaj
$20 million.
couldn't even show up. She's in the song. The green screened her in.
Yeah.
Like if you look at that shit, all of a sudden it's the halftime.
Well-
there's no one in the crowd. Everything turns off. There's some fake ass blue fire coming
Right.
up. She's green screen rapping, and then they do a shitty ass shot of her throwing a ball to Katy Perry, and it's obvious it's not her. And I'm like, what? Like,
I'm not mad.
Come on.
First off, I love Nicki
You're just
Minaj.
disappointed.
Second, I think that was the best part of the thing because her breakdown was actually decent.
well,
like
her-
when she starts
it
actually
is the best
rapping,
part
was
of the
decent,
song,
right?
for sure.
Yeah, and
But
so
it's-
beyond
it just
that,
shows holes in even the thought process behind the video.
Yeah, this is the kind of video like. So I follow Joseph Kahn on Twitter, right? And he was talking about like he talks about his work sometime, and someone asked him, hey, like how long did this take you to do? And he's like, yeah, we started prepping this back in January, started shooting, now we're in post, and hopefully it'll be done by like I think he was like, yeah, we're still like working on it as we speak. I think this is like 2-3 days before it was gonna go live. I don't know if I'm
Which
remembering
one's
that
this?
correctly.
This
This is
new
Taylor
one.
Swift's
Okay.
video, the new one. And so like that's a long fucking time to work on one music video. Like that's a long. Think about that. That's what are we? The month 8th. It's 8 months from pre-production to production to post-production. That's a long time to work on a 3-minute long video. So they put a lot of thought and effort into that. Swish swish. Pretty sure they were like, okay, Katie, stand over there, throw the ball. Oh, we'll figure that out. We'll make something happen with that. Terry Crews, scream, ha! Good job, Terry Crews. They probably just like reskinned him from his fucking Gold Spice commercials. Remember those things? So I don't know. It just feels like this was not very well concepted out, and then they don't even go fuck. I don't even think Katy Perry gave a fuck about it because she's like, people are still getting millions of views. It's just gonna happen, and there'd be some dumb audience that's like, I liked it. It had that fucking meme I like about the internet. Internets are cool.
Bernie Burns. The opposite
Jesus.
side of this, the equation is the fact that, and for a positive thing to end on here, or maybe end on, is my favorite band's Weezer. The first time I ever saw Weezer was Buddy Holly, and it was that was on somewhere, and it was the Happy Days, and it was like eye-catching enough to be like, what the fuck, and walk over and then listen and be like, oh man, like these guys are awesome.
I mean, Weezer for me was that I don't know the name of the song, but it was the song "Gone Fishing," I think. The song
Keep Fishing.
Keep Fishing with the Muppets in the video.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is fucking dope.
Yeah.
So I bought that album simply because of that
Green
video.
album, great one, yeah.
Clint Eastwood, the Gorilla song.
Yeah.
That video blew my mind, and I
Yeah,
was like,
that
all
was a
right,
great one.
I'm now in love with these guys. But yeah,
Christina
I definitely-
Aguilera, Genie in a Bottle.
Fantastic.
Britney Spears,
Britney
Baby
Spears.
One More
First
Time.
off,
Toxic.
Baby One More
Toxic.
Time. Don't even fucking talk about that in Mad Light.
I apologize. I know I'm not. It's not a bad light. I mean,
Slap
this
your
is
face.
this is what I'm talking about. Where music videos mattered to me was TRL.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And like
Which is
watching
coming
shit.
back.
Coming back.
Damn, son.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
We're all gonna watch it.
Carson
together
Daly
every
part of
night.
it.
No, it's a bunch of YouTubers.
Carson Daly died.
Oh, that's
He didn't
Carson Daly,
die.
He was 84 years old when he
No.
started doing MTV stuff, and now he's dead.
Yeah, I think that music videos are more relevant now than they've ever been. And I think it's because people think of music as music videos. People think when, a new song came out, that means a new music video came out.
Right.
Like back in the day, albums were lucky to get more than 3 music videos per album. Now,
Well, there was
if
like,
a song doesn't have a music video, it doesn't
wasn't there a bit
exist.
of a dip though, where it was like no one was figuring out where music videos were going to go, and then the internet.
Oh, that was a big dip.
Yeah,
I mean, what I'm talking about is from 2012 on, I'd even say, because they did 2010. They still didn't have the means to. Oh, everyone has a camera.
Right.
Anyone can do anything.
Right.
And so that meant DSLRs kind of made that revolution happen. And then once you get to the point where it's
Social
like
media
even
and all that stuff.
nice cameras are not that expensive compared to what they used to be.
Right.
So it's like you can have looking at Macklemore and what he did, his videos looked professional as fuck. And it was just from DSLRs. You know, and then now you look at the budgets put into his videos and it's insane.
I remember watching videos on like iTunes. Like before you could buy them, they would just have them up there for like all the new songs that came out. That's where I first started watching music videos.
Yeah, I remember for me, it was cousin Jody. Nope, not Aunt Uncle Scott's daughter. Not Aunt Uncle Scott's daughter. She would Bon Jovi videos. She'd come over. She would babysit me, and she was a teen. She would always have MTV on. I hated it.
What's her name?
My cousin Jody.
Big Bon Jovi fan?
Yeah.
Jody was a Bon Jovi fan.
Jody and Julie, big Bon Jovi fans.
Got it.
This is a real thing that happened there. They were all over. Yeah, that's what they did. They've seen him many times in concert.
But talking about music videos making you like a song more, how about Gundam Style?
Okay.
100%, yeah.
That's the only reason why I like that song.
Yeah.
If I'd have heard that
So
song,
good.
I'm like, I don't care about it. But then you see that you got caught up in the phenomenon.
Yep.
Right.
That was Psy. And you're like, whoa, this
You'd be
is
nothing
this is
without
fucking
that video.
intense.
And
yeah.
now that's not shit's beat. It's crazy to look at YouTube now.
Right.
When you're talking about records and music videos, Taylor Swift's "Look What You Made Me Do" is now the fastest viewed video of all time. I think it was like 42 million in its first 24 hours. And I thought that record's getting beaten all the time. She does it all the time.
Another video that really stands out
Check
to
it
me. I know
once,
we're long on
check
this
it
topic,
twice.
Greg. And you're doing the sign where you're like, stop fucking talking.
No, I'm
Stop
rubbing my
talking so we
chest,
get
that's
to my
all.
thing. The Kanye, what was the Kanye West video for? Was it Power? Where
Yeah.
it was just one shot.
That was a fucking art piece, man.
Dude, that was the first time I was like, fuck, like I liked that song. Then I saw that video and I was like, God,
That
that's
music video
fucking cool.
It's like a third of the song.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Doesn't give a fuck. It's just one verse.
Zero fucks given, man.
Yeah, it's just like, I'm just going to do this because it's fucking cool. Kanye West music videos, some of them are whatever, but like there are so many of them that are like, these are brilliant.
Didn't you do the? Is it the
works.
other one he did was one where they're all naked, like the naked like wax figures of people. Was that one of his videos?
Well, famous.
That was famous.
That's famous,
Yeah.
right? That's weird as fuck.
Yeah.
Led all this to
Or Bound.
Bound 2. That was
Yeah, Bound 2.
Which one was the one where they end up being the Thriller cats at the end? They end up
That
being
is
cats.
Fade.
That video was dope too.
That's Fade.
I don't watch music videos.
Fucking
I
up,
only
bro.
watch them because of Tim. Tim goes, "Hey, you have to watch this." I go, "Cool."
My topic
Give it to me.
comes from patreon.com, just like Matt did. But this time, it was submitted
That's where I
by
was
Nick
born.
Frontiero. How do you say that one, Nick?
Frontiero.
Nick Frontiero on Patreon. Nick writes in and says, I thought it would be a neat topic if you talked about movies that were okay at one time, but couldn't be done today. Or just the jokes and
Frontiero.
stuff. All right, you're not even sure?
Frontiero.
Frontiero. Or just the jokes and stuff from movies that the PC culture would find offensive now. Also, if you could figure out a way to make one of these films for today's audience, that would be interesting. I wish I could think of an example off the top of my head. The only thing I could come up with right now is Blazing Saddles.
Oh, Blazing Saddles would never fucking
Really?
fly today.
No.
Never.
I've only seen Blazing Saddles once. I thought it was funny, but it wasn't the whole point. Is it's a satire against racism?
Yes. But I don't know if movie audiences in this culture are going to be okay with that.
Okay.
Because every time, I mean, there's the N word is thrown around like crazy. And I
Right.
just
Yeah.
feel like by the third time, people are like, table gets flipped over. Fuck you guys. You can't say this shit.
Gotcha.
But I mean, Blazing Saddles is a genius film, and don't get me wrong. Like, it's held in high regard across the board. I don't know that you could be as edgy with that film these days.
Even if
be
the
honest.
point, even if the one,
Go for it.
I want to hear what you're gonna be honest about. Even if the point though was to lambast racism, you don't think you get away with
Yes,
it?
I don't think so. No.
I don't think the audience would understand that it's satire and that they would still be offended about
but
it.
I think they would choose to be
Yeah,
offended.
yeah,
by
they
it.
would still be offended. What I was
Yeah.
trying to say.
you guys
It's still,
just-
they wouldn't care.
Here comes Kev.
This was a little bit more serious, but Django, like there was a big movement against like, oh, they say the N-word way too many times, but
It still happened.
I think at the end it still happened and people loved
so
that movie.
that's kind of my point. Is honestly, I feel like this topic, there'll be a lot of things that we can bring up, I truly believe any of these movies could happen today. I think, yeah.
I don't think they could happen exactly like they happened back then.
I think they could happen exactly like they did. I think that people are going to be outraged about it and they're going to write their fucking BuzzFeed blogs about it. That doesn't mean that they can't happen.
Well, that's the topic, though. That he's saying if you were to do these movies, which ones would people like be rightfully outraged over, or like what or unrightfully? Like, they're remaking how like
people are going to be outraged about literally everything. What I'm saying, I think that any of these movies, any movie you guys name, I think could come out today.
My pick is Soul Man from 1986. Wikipedia synopsis is Mark Watson is the pampered son of a rich family who is about to attend Harvard Law School along with his best friend Gordon. Unfortunately, his father's neurotic psychiatrist talks his patient into having more fun for himself instead of spending money on his son. Faced with the horrifying prospect of having to pay for law school by himself, Mark decides to apply for a scholarship, but the only suitable one is for African Americans only. He decides to cheat by using tanning pills in a larger dose than prescribed to appear as an African American. Watson then sets out for Harvard, naively believing that blacks have no problems at all in American society. There's no way somebody would get behind that picture.
That movie could be made if it were reversed. I think if
white chicks.
It's white chicks, basically.
But I think that even nowadays, like you going under this guise, white chicks couldn't be made today. Because I feel like
maybe not.
So I feel like you're taking couldn't be made as. I'm saying no studio would back that. That's not a movie that would be made. Clearly, you could go to Patreon, you could fund it yourself.
Well,
you could do whatever.
But I mean, I'm going farther than that. Where I'm just saying that I feel like people wouldn't make it because they're like, oh man, it's going to get too much backlash. It's like, yo, if you're going to push this shit through. You're just not going to stand by that because you don't want to deal with people not liking it. Just there's more people able to be vocal about not liking the things. Sure, and that's on you to stand by if you think that this is funny enough. And that you need to find that audience that's going to think it's funny. Or else you can't back up your own shit and you shouldn't do it.
Sure, I think Greg's point is, so I walk in and I'm like, I love this movie, I love this idea, right? It's gonna be about it's a remake of Soul Man, right? We're gonna take the whitest person you can find, and he's gonna pretend like he's black, and he's gonna almost go as far as to do blackface, and it's gonna be hilarious. No studio exec in this climate would be like, here is $5 for that movie. They're just not gonna back that movie. It's not gonna happen. It's just not happening in this day and age because they know that is going to be so much shit that if people catch wind, take a look at what's happening with the new Slave series on HBO. That shit's getting canceled before it's even fucking coming out.
No, it hasn't been canceled.
It's getting Confederate. It's getting real close to them being like, this is not worth the shit
People
we're taking for this.
People were talking about it for 2 days. That doesn't mean it's getting canceled.
Confederate, real quick, sorry, is the one that what if the Confederates won the war, right? Okay. And then is it modern day, similar to like High in the Man in the High Castle, or is it?
I think we're supposed to be. Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
And we're going to our 3rd Civil War, I think.
Okay, see.
I mean, we'll see. I'm not saying it's getting canceled. I'm saying at some point the HBO execs got in a room and were like, what
and
the
so
fuck
here's where this
right?
is all personal values, obviously, and everything else, and that's why this is always so thing. But on the weighted scale, right? What the pitch that I just heard on Confederate, the Confederacy won the Civil War. It's in modern day. We're about to go into our 3rd Civil War. Sounds like a fascinating piece of fiction.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would love to read that or watch that. Exactly. Soul Man. 2017-18 sounds like, why the fuck are you putting anyone in blackface? Like, we know that's bad. We know that offends everybody.
Now again, Tim, I see both sides. I see your point too, right? If it's funny enough and done tastefully enough and well enough and it's satire, it can be done.
No,
it absolutely can be done.
To be clear, the only point that I'm making is the people that the outrage culture, when really the problem is the people that get outraged at outrage culture. That is where I'm coming from.
Oh no, yeah, everyone's gonna get outraged by everything. Doesn't matter.
But the real problem, what Kevin's saying is like that was 2 days of people being upset and then it was over with.
But the question,
the show wasn't canceled.
Right. But the question is, every week there was another one this week about whitewashing. Right. We talked about that. Right.
Oh yeah.
That's what we're talking about, and I'm sure we'll go into that. Like one of my examples is you can't have Long Duck Dong anymore. That's not going to be a character. You can't have Mickey Rooney in Breakfast at Tiffany playing a Japanese upset.
Dude,
at the time
though is, can you not do that? When you look at movies, there's still characters like that where to this day we'll be in the theater. I can't believe they're doing this.
Well, my opinion is no, I don't think you can, because I think as filmmakers, as Hollywood, as a progressive, you have a moral obligation to not paint people in that light.
But so here's the thing.
I think you cannot do that
James Bond
anymore.
is a perfect example where I feel like I would bring up James Bond as an example. You can't do that anymore. But then you watch What was the last one? Spectre. And they did it. They did it in 2016.
It didn't do well, and a lot of people gave him shit for that, myself included.
Right.
So
but that doesn't matter, though.
And
real quick, as somebody who didn't see Spectre, what, he slaps girls in the butt and he's like, get out of here, it's man talk? Or
no,
what?
he just gets really creepy with Monica Bellucci, and then it's a very weird scene where it's kind of rapey. It's
like
rapey.
pushes her against the wall and kind of,
Yeah, no, but that was a scene.
You can remove the kind of,
and that's a scene that I would argue if I were a filmmaker, I'd be like, I would fight to not have this scene in here because in this day and age, people are smarter. People have progressed beyond this. We don't need. This is not the symbol of masculinity anymore to me, right? This is not the macho hero anymore. A guy that walks into a room and can fuck any woman that he wants right off the bat because he's James Bond. That doesn't fly with me anymore. I think that we've progressed beyond that point.
But it was in a major movie that came out that was funded by a studio and they didn't take it out.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Because it has a lineage. Anything can happen. That's again going back to the point is what would people overreact to, and should we be doing this? Like, should it be remade? What can be remade? Does that make sense? Like, I think Greg's point is kind of where I'm coming from this of like, if I were a studio executive, would I have greenlit that scene in Spectre? Probably thinking, okay, it's James Bond, but now seeing it, would I do it again in the next one? No. You better goddamn believe they're probably not going to have another scene like that in the next James Bond.
I don't believe it. Why would I believe that? When we see Transformers 2 and it has these racist ass characters.
That's another one of those.
But they went away, didn't they?
Yeah, they went away, but they went away because to sell more toys because they needed other ones. They didn't go away because they were
people were
racist.
mad. Okay.
Yeah.
I think the worst part about that James Bond thing was that it leading up to the movie, and when she was cast, they're like, oh, she's like the oldest Bond girl, she's so like stunning, and see how like this woman can still, like put her presence in this movie, and act, old can still be sexy, all that kind of stuff, and then in the movie she's practically raped. That's just not a good look. I mean,
it's skeezy.
Right?
It's skeezy,
yeah,
right? And everyone knows it's skeezy, and I think that's the sort of the heart of what we're talking about here. Is like, I just feel like. I mean, again, it's me. Everyone's different. And we have a very big country, very diverse country. There's 318 million Americans here. People are going to have their own opinions of this, right? But to me, as a James Bond fan, I'm like, I expect a little bit more than that. Like, that's not suave. That's not debonair. That's not charming. That is just you taking everyone's expectation of what James Bond's supposed to be and exploiting it for this one scene that BT Dubs didn't service the movie
No.
at all. He could have walked in, saved her life, and be like, let's have a conversation. Why did he have to fuck her?
And it could have been consensual.
And it didn't even need to be consensual. It was, I just saved your life. They were going to kill you. I just saved your life. Tell me what's going on with your husband. Cool. Awesome.
Right.
That's all it had to be. But instead, he like pins her up against the wall and he's like, Daniel Craig. And poor Daniel Craig, you can see it. He's like,
poor Daniel Craig.
I don't even want to be doing this.
You can see it. Like, fucking do this fucking scene. This is terrible. It's probably another reason why he doesn't want to do the role anymore. I'm putting words in his mouth now. But now
he's going to write in. He's going to be like, no, Nick, you're right.
No, you're right. You're right.
But
He's in the chat
I
right
have
now.
to imagine that that's frustrating for him, like having to play that same fucking role over and over again and not having people go like, hey, man, it ain't 1965 anymore. It is 2017. Maybe this character needs a little bit of an update and to be a little bit more sensitive to what's going on in the world. I got a long list of these, by the way.
Oh no! Well, I mean, like that's the thing, and I feel like that's where these scales come in. What we're talking about is, I feel like we've talked about it before on this show, right? Of like, fiction should be able to be created and exist, but then you get to make your opinion on it. Like, it shouldn't be killed in its cradle necessarily, right? Unless like, well, no, I don't even know. Well, like, we're way in the weeds, right? So Soul Man versus anything else you want to do or whatever. But like, I put honorable mentions in because I think Soul Man is the movie I look at where I'm like, that can't exist. I Googled around. I saw this Breakfast at Tiffany's. I've never watched Breakfast at Tiffany's. And then it's like, yeah, it's Andy Rooney, right? Mickey Rooney. And he's like playing this Asian guy. You're like, all right, cool. And you watch it like, holy
Mr.
fucking...
Yunioshi is his name. I wrote it down here. And that's one of the biggest, like... That is one of the
cinema sins.
Yeah, it's terrible. Because it didn't service anything. There was no reason other than they were like, Mickey Rooney is a very popular person.
Yeah.
He's going to be playing the Japanese man. Mickey Rooney being super white.
And that being the joke of it. Like that was the point.
The joke was to make fun of Japanese people.
Absolutely.
And it's the same way, like growing up, my dad loved, I assume he still does, I don't know. But he grew up with them too. The Charlie Chan movies. Are you familiar with these detective movies or whatever? And like, you're watching, like, is the lead guy, is Charlie Chan a white guy pretending to be, and my dad's like, yeah. I'm like, that's really weird. They wouldn't make that anymore. But like, honorable mentions, things that wouldn't fly. The first thing that came to mind off of that was Short Circuit's non-Indian Indian man. You remember this? Fisher Stevens or whatever?
Oh, right.
Who's basically... No, he wasn't Indian. And the problem is we were both young and stupid. I think now we would see right through it if we watched it, but at the time,
was he just a white
you don't
dude
fucking
doing
know.
Indian?
Yes,
No,
he's a white man in brown face pretending to be Indian there too.
Yeah, that's not
good. And that brought up recently, I don't know if you've seen this, the problem with Apu, the True TV documentary or whatever. For Apu from The Simpsons. Nobody knows what I'm talking about?
Abu?
No, Apu.
Is that what his name was?
From Simpsons.
Yeah,
I'm saying it perfect.
Who's the monkey in Aladdin?
Thank you.
Yes, there you
Thank
go.
you. Now who's the
Yeah. This fall, True TV is releasing comedian Hari Khan Dabulu, Simpsons documentary, The Problem with Apu, which will explore the cultural impact of the show's most prominent Indian character. It's the same thing where you don't think about it, or at least I don't think about it, because Simpsons was forever ago, and I don't watch it.
Right.
But I remember watching it and being like, oh, okay, Apu's Indian or whatever. And he's done by Hank Azaria or whatever is his voice or whatever. And it's this thing of, obviously the director of this is Indian. And I watched the trailer for it, and he's talking to all these other Indian actors and how, like, Apu has set them so far back in this. And not maybe just Apu, but he's the shining example of when they go out on a casting call, what they want from, okay, do an accent, do this, you're a taxi driver, this, you know what I mean? Them going through and doing all these different things. And the guy who's making the movie's like, it sucks because I love The Simpsons, but this is like ruining it, and nobody sees that there's a problem.
Hassan Minaj, if I'm not mistaken, has a great. Is he the one that tried to be in Deadpool? He was trying to be the taxi driver in Deadpool.
Oh, was he? I don't know the story.
Oh fuck, I can't remember. It was either Hassan or someone else. Someone else was talking about that, and they were like how they went in for the audition, and they told him specifically, like, don't do the Indian accent, don't do it. He's like, but I can do it, or whatever. And they're like, don't do it. And then he didn't get the role. And then the guy that got the role was like the stereotypical cab driver.
And this is the same. This is a big part of Master of None.
Yeah.
And that, like, season one, when Aziz is still going out on roles, it's the exact same thing where they go to these things. What's up, Joey?
Oh, I just started Master of None, so
Oh, okay. Well, that's it. That's all it was. It's just one quick segment.
Yeah, I guess what you're really talking about is, like, I guess what we're boiling it down to is, like, is it okay to still make fun of cultural stereotypes, right? And this is something that I see in comedy all the time in stand-up, where you'll see people that do that, and you're like, oh, like, maybe that's just what I'm bringing to the table, but I cannot stand up on stage in good conscience and be like, I'm going to do a stereotypical Japanese accent right now to make fun of Japanese people. Like, I just don't, that sucks the air out of the room whenever someone tries to do that. And again, I'm doing comedy in the most liberal place on the fucking planet right now, which is San Francisco. So every single person in there, in the back of their mind's like, oh, when's this motherfucker going to trip up so I can be like judgy, right? I understand that. I get it. Again, having said that, to your point, if someone does it and they fucking nail it and everyone in the audience is on board with it, then it suddenly becomes okay.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like it's on the person that's doing the art to like own it and to believe in it. And if people don't laugh, then they don't laugh. And it's like, all right, well, fuck you guys then.
Right.
I'm going to take this somewhere else and find that audience of people that do like it.
And that's the thing. Some of the movies that did this were actually doing that, right? Some of the movies back in the day that were doing this were subtle, veiled commentaries on a lot of things. Like one of the ones I had on my list was The Toy, right? Which is a movie, I don't know if you remember this or not. It's Richard Pryor and a rich white kid.
No, rich white guy. Isn't it Jackie Gleason?
Jackie Gleason, but he buys Richard Pryor for his kid.
Gotcha.
As a toy. And obviously the entire thing is basically a social commentary on slavery and on you know what it's like to be black in America in the 80s. And Richard Pryor, I don't think would have done that movie otherwise. You know, but a lot of people look back on that now and go, that can't get done. There's no way that could be done.
Yeah, because then there's other things that are just straight up just racist, like Dumbo. You know, when
the crows.
Yeah, the crows.
Where their leader's literally named Jim Crow. And it's like what? But it was a different time then. And because people were openly racist then in a way that open racists are not, you know, given a high five these days. Right. You know, it's not that it doesn't happen still, but it's not as openly accepted, which is the whole point of this thing. Right. Yeah. And like looking at, I think even as close to now as the 90s, when any Adam Sandler movie, any Rob Schneider movie, so many of the jokes in that are just making fun of minority groups. Oh, all the whatever they are, whether it's race or level of handicap or whatever it is. It's just ridiculous that like they make these jokes, but they were funny, and that was the climate then. And it's like it's not that they couldn't happen now; it's just that there's not an audience to support that shit because people don't think that's funny. Yeah. Right.
Well, and you'd like to think we've matured, right? I think that's a part of it. You know what I mean? I think it's not funny because you start to think of other people's emotions and the humanity of your fellow person, right? And that's the thing where I think for from the document or for the trailer for The Problem with Apu, that's what it really stands out to me as, right? For me growing up in the suburbs of Chicago, you know, with my parents and other white people around me, like I don't know any Indian people. So to see Apu on TV while he's not really Indian, but also portraying like, here's what Hinduism is, right? And here's how this works, and here's who I am, and I have a family, and I'm trying to get me. And like, it was a thing of like, oh, that is positive but negative in the same sense, which is weird.
Although, which is the weirdest thing though is like when I think of Apu from the Simpsons, I think of he's like the one character that does have his shit together.
Yeah,
like,
no, he runs a business and he's great. Yeah, right. Yeah,
He's horrible human beings.
Yeah, exactly. No,
but I'm right there with you, right? And I think that's why when people start going like, oh, I don't understand what all this whitewashing stuff is. Like, I understand that art is art, and the person who's making the art has the like he or she gets to dictate what is in that. But there is also something to be said of saying like, look, you have the opportunity to make something without taking something away from someone, right? You have the, I'm glad you beat me, which is hilarious because I was going to pee after this. You have the opportunity to go like, hey, do we need to make this joke? Does this joke not like need to be a like poking fun at the Indian stereotype, or can we actually cast an Indian person in this, and is that going to deter from what we're trying to make? You know?
Hey, real quick.
And that's what you have to ask yourself.
Real quick, I like him. He's good.
Yeah,
he's doing a really good job on the show.
Should we kill him when he comes back?
No,
okay. I thought that's where your brain's
No, I just want to say I really like him. I'll never tell him to his face.
These type of like the jokes or the movies or whatever it is you want to call it. I think what it really comes down to is what you were saying about the Richard Pryor movie, where it's like there was a parody there and there's some level of social commentary, and people can say there's social commentary in literally anything. Sure. So it's like it's not like that makes it okay. But for me, growing up in San Francisco, growing up in a dominantly Chinese environment, it was always if someone made a Chinese joke, being around my Chinese friends, when I would laugh and they would laugh is when there was layer to it, when it was like making a joke that was understanding of the culture. But when someone's punchline was ching chong, then you're just making fun of. Like, the joke is the people then.
Yeah, and that's a question I always I ask myself a lot, where I'm like, where is the end of that, right? Because at a certain point, we do like as a person who is doing stand-up comedy, as a person who's making jokes, like you could pick apart any single one of my jokes that I make and have a problem with it, right? Be like that, I'm going to get offended at this because of that, and so that's something I think about a lot. I don't have an answer for it, which is like obviously you go back and watch like any Eddie Murphy stand-up special from the '80s, and 90% of that shit, people would just be like, no, dude, you cannot fucking talk about gay people like that. You can't talk about like mentally handicapped people like that. It's just not going to fly, right? So at a certain point, like I do wonder, I'm like, as a person getting into comedy 10 years from now, what is going to be, or like what are we as comedians able to talk about and make fun of?
My thing is, I think you're able to talk, and this goes back to my argument, is you're able to talk about anything as long as you stand by it and that you really do think it's funny and you're not just getting mad because they're mad at you, right? You just said it so well yourself that you think about everything you say. Good. Right, but you should take every single joke that you have and think about it from every perspective that you possibly can to maximize how can I make the most people think that this joke is funny? Sure. Little tweaks can go so far. To then in 10 years when people look back at what you're doing, you're going to have a massive audience of people that think you're funny.
But at the same time, it's hard not to feel like the subject matter and the field of play is narrowing. Right.
But it's not if you just own it. Because I feel like Eddie Murphy, I mean, he's turned into something different in the last couple of decades. But if he were to come up and still do the same jokes and still do them the way he did, if he owned that, it's funny that he's saying those things that are inappropriate.
Chappelle just did 2 Netflix specials, one that had jokes that he's been doing for a long time.
And it felt inappropriate, but it was funny because it was Chappelle doing it. It didn't feel like, ooh, you shouldn't be saying it these days. It felt like you're funny and you're owning this, and it's funny because you're
but I watched the Chappelle specials, the 2 that came out, and there was some stuff in there that I was like, okay, you're a little out of touch. Like, we've moved beyond this. As me personally, I don't think that's funny anymore because I've moved beyond that. Maybe it's because when I watched Killing Him Softly, it was back in like 2002 when I was 22. Actually, I take that back. I went back and watched Killing Him Softly recently. It's a fucking brilliant special. That I think was just a much better written special, and I think Chappelle was on point in that. I think now he's fallen off a little bit as far as like, I just don't think I think he took that break and he needs to build steam coming back. So I'm interested to see what the third part of that special is going to be.
Is there a third part?
Yeah, I think he's doing 3.
Because the 2 of them, one of them I thought was really good and one of them was really bad.
I think, I could be completely wrong. I may have just made that up, but I think he's doing a 3rd one in that series.
I haven't heard that at all.
Well, then maybe I'm wrong. But I look at those and I'm like, I feel like he's someone who got big, got rich, burned out, walked away from it, came back to it expecting the game to be the same, and the game changed. And there's some stuff that he says in that I'm like, it's not that it wasn't funny. I'm just disappointed because I go back and watch Killing Him Softly. I'm like, fuck, that was so, for the time, so funny and so coming at that part of the world from a different perspective, like your life from a different perspective, and really turning that all on its edge. It's really smart comedy. And then you watch the newer ones and you're like, oh man, he's just calling people trannies. Like, I don't really fucking need that, man. Like, that's not smart. That's not clever. That's not a commentary. And what you're talking about is adding depth to your comedy and having layers of people going like, wow, I just laughed at that. and asking themselves, why did I just laugh at that? Or what's so important about me laughing at that? What does that say about me? What does it say about you? What does that say about the world? These observational things that this comedian is trying to make.
What's that? Or it's shock value. Like, I feel like hearing Chappelle say the things, it's like, oh shit. And I feel like South Park is the master of that, of the shock and awe of we're seeing something so fucked up, but then there is always the deeper message.
Yeah, but that's the thing about South Park that's brilliant, is because South Park is actually on a surface level the stupidest fucking thing you're ever gonna go. It is shock and awe value, right? But it is one of the deepest fucking shows ever made.
Utterly brilliant.
And it's genius, and it can be genius because it's very topical. I don't know. I've got a long list, but I feel like we're going.
I mean, what are your other highlights?
Another thing for me that I just want to say is that what we're talking about reminds me of Eminem. Like, one of my favorite rappers of all time. No matter what trash he ends up putting out, no matter how bad it ends up getting, he will still be one of the best to ever do it. But then I look back and I listen to his first 4 albums even, and I'm like horrified at
oh yeah, sure.
And it's like they're still technically amazing. His rhyme schemes are still on point. Like, the way he would put things together was just it's unmatched. However, it's like, whoa, you couldn't say this shit now. But it's like, but you could. People still do. People always do. There's just not an audience for it. People wouldn't buy Eminem albums if he was, dropping slurs left and right.
Sure.
But he still kind of does, and people still do kind of buy it.
Yeah. There's a lot of people there's a lot of people that probably would be in touch with some of those messages too, unfortunately. Couple movies that, because I actually looked through this and there's a bunch of lists online, so I'm not going to say that I came up with a lot of these off the top of my head because I didn't come up with any of them. None of them. I mean, some of these movies like Overboard, I knew. Obviously,
Overboard, an old one. Goldie Hawn, Kurt Russell.
Basically kidnaps her.
She's a rich woman, right, on a yacht. He's working on it.
Right.
She falls overboard and loses her memory, and he's like, "We were married."
Right.
Yeah,
well, basically kidnaps her for a good 4 weeks before they find her.
But then she falls in love with him.
Great movie.
Although I don't know, see, that's one of those that I think of like that's super creepy, but I think that could be made funny today.
Aren't they remaking it? Isn't that the thing?
I think they were making it.
You were talking about that.
They're remaking Splash.
My apologies. All right. Okay.
Another one that popped out to me was, and this was on a list, and I didn't think about this. Like, I saw it on a list, and I was like, no way. And then I started thinking about it. I'm like, interesting. True Lies, because the way it paints Muslims is like so unbelievably stereotypical. Like,
no way, they make
the terrorist.
They still are in the movies. They still are always the terrorists.
Okay.
Like, that's now when you have a Muslim comedian, or again, I think it might even be in Master of None. They're like, we're just gonna be the terrorists. Why do we have to do this? Right. You talk to like Maz Jabrani, I think, has a bit about it in his stand-up special too. The same way. Oh, it's great. Yeah, he's hilarious, dude. Yeah, but that is the sad. It's still the sad thing, right? Of like, in the same way, like in the 80s, the Russians were always the villain. Now it's that Muslim, Middle Eastern. You're the terrorist.
Radical Islam.
Yeah. And I feel we've gotten a little bit better at it, but I'm also a 34-year-old white guy who plays a golf game at night. So who the hell knows what's happening out there for other people.
Golf game.
I do,
and you're good at it.
Thank you.
Couple notable other ones that I wanted to just bring up and actually ask, because I don't know. These are ones that I'm like, I think they could be remade, but it's interesting. The subject matter is interesting.
Certain things have to change.
Weird Science. 2 dudes get together to make their perfect girl, and she's smoking hot.
You could do that again.
I think you could too. Because some of these are like the reason I brought up that I found some of these on the list, because I just fundamentally disagree. I think the Kelly LeBrock character in that is the strongest character in the entire thing. They make this dream character of a girl who's supposed to be like just for her looks, and she ends up being a fucking super genius that like helps these dipshit fucking nerds.
I mean, the thing you're leaving out, in case somebody doesn't know Weird Science, is that they're losers in whatever sophomore, junior year of high school. They're high school kids, and so they whip up this supermodel or whatever who can grant wishes and is awesome and like is in control of all the situations. I think you get away with that.
I mean, I think this goes back to the fact that when it comes to all of the why can or can't you do these things? Like, there's certain things on the list that we think about, and I think that there's just certain things that are more taboo than others.
Yeah.
And as time goes on, it's like one thing will be like, well, this is worse than that, so we can't do that. So as you look at it now, I think that sexism is still not that bad.
Still okay.
Yeah. You know,
in terms of general public scale, popular opinion,
sexism still hasn't hit that point where it's like, oh, you can't say gay. Right? Like, if you say gay now, that's like, you're bad.
You're still allowed to fight somebody if they say they're feminist. Basically, right now.
Well,
I'm not a feminist.
That's a layer that like complicates things. But just the sexism of it, of building your perfect woman, like that. Not everyone agrees that is bad.
Well, I think that could be done and done in such a way that's brought up to modern times, and it would be joking about that, right? And I think they get a little bit of a pass because they were sophomores in high school and they're boys.
Well, that's the thing. They're sexually charged. And that was the thing too.
That was
is
the
they
whole
always
point of it, right?
Didn't they want to fuck Lisa, but they couldn't?
Yeah, they
or
couldn't.
something? There's some rule.
They were too. No, they were. Just
oh no, she brought him in. She brought him in the shower. That's right. And they were like,
and that was the commentary. There was like these guys find they
get what they want.
They have their prepubescent like dream girl there, and it's so intimidating to them.
Showering's fun, she says. Right?
Yeah,
like,
they end up actually going for just the girls that are nice girls.
Exactly.
I think that could totally be made. Greg, one that you mentioned was Revenge of the Nerds.
Fuck yeah. Revenge of the Nerds on the surface and probably will be remade in our lifetime.
I feel like
they won't have Lewis totally pretend to be a girl's boyfriend and rape her not like rape like she's fighting back. She thinks she's having sex with her.
Rape is rape.
I know, but I mean, again, what's so hard about these films is like Revenge of the Nerds, everyone knows what I'm talking about. No, they don't, right? Of like, he steals the outfit that matches her boyfriend's outfit and goes into the bounce house, on the moon. House, They have sex, and at the end, he comes up and takes off the mask, and she's like, oh, it was you. Are all nerds this good at sex? Like, that's not the reaction you have when you've been violated by a stranger.
When I was a kid,
unless it was
watching Revenge of the Nerds,
apparently,
I remember seeing the whole movie and being like, this is awesome. And I distinctly remember seeing that scene, not being able to vocalize it, being like, I'm pretty sure this is wrong.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you're supposed to do this.
Well, I mean,
and then he gets away with it, and I was like,
I still
think that's bad.
That's the thing about what's so weird about me, and from my own perspective of the 80s and coming of age there or whatever, is the way sexuality is handled.
Yeah.
When you actually get old enough and have sex and have a partner and have all these things, like, it's such a vulnerable, intimate thing. But the way movies handle it, where it's like, if I just had sex with some random person and came up, was like, it was me all along. Like, they would fucking, exactly, whatever you want. And it's the same one. I have Revenge of the Nerds here. It's the same way that, like, the nerds break in for a panty raid at the sorority house.
I'm like, as I was watching it as a kid, nothing else registered except for that last part.
They break in to do a panty raid at the sorority house, which is weird enough, but I guess did happen at least once, because that's like the whole like
panty raid, sure.
Yeah, frat
at least once.
Well, you know, it feels like an urban legend thing that's something people talked about.
Be based on some
Who the fuck ever did that? And everybody was like, that's just boys being boys.
Can you imagine if some dipshit frat house was like, we're gonna bring back the panty? They would get fucking.
Now again, if you are listening to or watching this show not having watched Revenge of the Nerds, the panty raid, not even the most offensive thing.
No.
The panty raid was a smoke screen
It's a red herring.
for the other nerds to break into the attic, saw holes in the roof, and put cameras in their bedrooms and bathrooms.
Oh my god.
Then they go back to their nerd fraternity house and watch on closed circuit TV these women naked in the shower with each other comparing. It's like,
kids are smart.
They were something, all right. They would all be fucking thrown away right now. Thrown in jail.
When I was a kid, the reason why that maybe didn't register was because it was like overload. Because the whole point of it was like leading up to the joke about Bush. We've got Bush. Remember that? And that was the first time I think as a child I'd ever seen a naked woman. Like, I'd ever seen pubic hair. And I remember just not. I don't even think my brain. It just went boo. You know what I mean? Like, it was so much stimuli that it just fucking.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing is, it was an '80s movie aimed at kids who just wanted to see tits. And on top of it, it was the fact that the nerds were the downtrodden.
Right.
We were rooting for them to get past the alpha betas who were assholes. And these, of course, were the alpha betas, like girls or whatever. But the pies. But now, to add even more into this of how fucked up this was. During the panty raid, they break in, they put cameras in. Lewis takes a photo of Betty, who is naked. This is the same woman he will eventually rape in the moon house.
Right.
Takes a photo of Betty that's naked. Then, at the carnival, whatever, to raise money, to do whatever, they sell pies. And they have a line around the block. And the alphabet is like, why are these people? They go over, they steal a pie. Ogre eats it. It's just whipped cream sprayed into a pie tin. It's good. And at the bottom of the pie tin is the naked photo of Betty or whatever. I think her name's Betty. Yeah, that Lewis took, who will then go on. I think rapes her at that same carnival.
Yeah, I think that was moments before.
And it's like none of that. That whole plot line would have to be ripped away and thrown away. And everybody's like, all right, we got to draw some things.
See, I think the only way that movie gets remade,
and we talked about this in the airport, right?
Is if you flip those.
What if it was the nerds were the girls and they went into and they did the frat.
Take some pictures of dicks, because I feel like right now, and this is going back to what you're saying, right? You do that, it's funny enough for people that it doesn't register that's the same shit that they did before. But you're like, oh, it's girls taking pictures of dicks. That's funny, right? That's funny. We can get away with that. And then 10 years from now, we're like, dude, that fucking remake of Revenge of the Nerds totally inappropriate.
And that's the thing is that's what would happen. And like, but I don't even know if you would, right? Now, granted, this is held to a higher standard, but that Batman Harley Quinn movie's out, right? And it's just getting ripped apart everywhere. And one of the pieces I read ripping it apart was the fact that, and I haven't seen it, so I really don't have judgment, but based on the description, at one point, like, the thrust is that Batman and Nightwing have to work with Harley or whatever, right? And they're running around doing stuff. At one point, Nightwing wakes up and he's like tied to the bed, and Harley's on him naked. And she's like, we should have sex. And at first he's like, no, but then he's like, all right, fine. And they fuck. But it's like, reverse those roles of like the woman wakes up tied to the bed and there's a naked
DC animated movies, like Killing Joke.
Great point. That's a great point. And that's the thing is we get on them about it. Like, I don't even know. I think if we remade Revenge of the Nerds and some girl's eating the pie and it's Zac Efron's cock and balls, I think someone would be like, I don't know, that's what's gonna fly.
I think judging based on our reaction to it, they got a good 3 years they can get away with that joke. 3 years until they can get until Zac Efron's dick is not funny anymore.
Close up of Zac Efron's cock and balls.
Yeah, I feel like we'd be okay with that because I feel like at least for just the 80s in general, guys have it coming. We got payback coming as far as like being objectified by women. And I think, first off, dicks are funny. We can all agree with that. Second off, imagine just a girl eating a bunch of whipped cream and she just sees that sweet, nasty Zac Efron dick.
That's like one of those things. If we have a lot.
Tim's laughing. You can't see it.
We have the cameras. We have the cameras. I talk all the time about wanting to do my Kingdom Come trailer.
Yeah.
What another thing I would love to do is just let's recreate that scene. Oh, where the girl whose ogre walks back and she's eating the pie, like, how is it? It's good. Well, is it good or is it great? It's good. Oh. Like, that's just a close up of Zac Efron's cock. Zac Efron, we need to get you on the hook for the cock and balls here.
Zac Efron.
Don't do that, please. Do not do that, please.
I'll tell you a movie that I think needs to be remade because I think it was a little before its time. Is PCU. Do you guys remember this movie?
Yeah, of course I do. Jeremy Piven.
It's a movie about
David Spade.
I think it was like Pacific Central University or whatever.
But it's meant to be politically
correct university. And it was a movie about an intern, or sorry, excuse me,
Pre-frosh,
who was going in to look at this school to see if he wanted to go there or not. And every group on the school was a radical. I mean, it's a precursor to social justice warrior, but that's what they were. So it was like the radical feminists, that type of
radical preppies.
The radical preppies.
It was the extreme of every clique.
Of every single clique, right? Yeah. And it was basically like everything got protested. Everything that happened got protested. There were protests to protest, right? At one point, the Fresh, of course, falls in Pre-Fresh falls in with the group of the one party house that's still left that are still trying to hold it down and be like, dude, we just want to be normal college students.
Oh my god! And I forgot.
And then like all the protesting groups show up to the party.
John Favreau, right?
Yeah, plays Gutter.
Yeah, Gutter.
Yeah, that was Fat John Favreau.
Oh yeah,
remember that was skinny and then went back.
That was big old Fat John Favreau.
So I feel like that's a movie that's right for a remake because I think it's more relevant now than it ever was.
Totally.
Yeah.
Star Wars Episode 1. Those like the gun rays, new gun ray.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
But at the time we were like, yo.
Oh,
this is super racist.
That lasted till episode 3.
Right.
So the trade. Okay, yeah. The guys who doing a real stereotypical
or whatever the fuck they were supposed to be.
Jar Jar Binks too.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Whatever. But this shit still happens.
At the time, everyone was like, yo. Like I remember watching that.
But it didn't matter. It kept happening.
It did keep happening. It's just bad. But I guess it's just the difference between like, hey, is that a good or a bad look? And for Lucas, that was just a bad look, especially going out on those 3 movies. You're like, Lucas, no.
If you didn't know, this has been the Game Over Greggy show. Each and every week, 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather around this table. Each bring a random topic of discussion for your amusement. If you like that, head over to patreon.com/kindafunny, where you can get each and every episode early. We post them live when you're watching them and recording them. Then we put them up on Fridays. Then they go up for free, of course, on youtube.com/kindafunny, Monday through Friday, topic by topic, day by day, until it's one big video. And MP3 the following Friday. You could come be on the show, just like Matt did. Matt, I thought you were excellent. I want you to know that.
Excellent.
I was a big fan.
Thank you.
I was a big fan.
Thank you.
You did good. We're going to go to dinner now. Are you excited to eat food?
Yeah, I'm really hungry.
Okay, good. All right. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen. Oh wait, do you want to pimp anything? Do you? Your Twitter's probably been up if you have a Twitter.
It better be.
You got a Twitter. Okay. Whoa. Okay. Well, you paid good money, sir.
Twitter. It's gonna be Meg Turney's Twitter.
We got to make up for Meg. So yeah, there's a gremlin in Kevin's machine that makes everyone Anthony and Gruber. So that's something that happens. What was that?
It's Greg Gettys. Well,
Greg Gettys' machine has a gremlin.
Don't fucking
Throw him in
pot
the
on this
bus.
off
Now that's
Greg 'cause
fucked
he's
up.
not here.
That's fucked up.
It's probably exported more than 4,000
Technically,
videos.
it's Kevin's machine.
Yeah, it is technically my
So
machine.
Kevin just
Gremlins
lied.
look soft,
You're
but they
right.
hard.
Forgot about that.
Until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.
Now, Greg, this is what the Care Bear is going to look like.
With the acid
A
stomach?
normal Care Bear, but it's
Oh.
got the teardrop at the eye.
Okay, that
That's what I'm
looks
gonna have-
nothing like a Care Bear.
That's what I'm going to tattoo on
Does
your
that
face.
look like a Care Bear to you?
Oh no! I look like a
no.
weird
Kevin,
gorilla.
can you
Looks
give
like a
Skycam
gorilla.
before we sign? That doesn't look like a Care Bear.
I see it, Nick. I
Thank
see
you,
it.
Kevin. Thank you. You know, these guys don't understand art.
It's a gorilla with a tummy.
True story. I never get
drop bear.
nervous when doing the intro or outro, except when there's a guest, because I don't want to throw off the cadence of. Hold on, this is still fun content. Except for when because I don't want to throw off this table for them.
Yeah.
You know what
I'm
I
not
mean?
gonna lie. I've been practicing for like
Good.
weeks.
Nice.
Because so many
Nailed
people
it.
don't, and they miss it.
Crushed
Well, it's
it.
just because we bring on guests who act like they watch the show.
Kev, can you
No,
bring
no,
Troy
up
Baker's
some
always
of the
like
comments?
scarf over his shoulder. He's like, I love this show, man. I've been on it 12 times. They do this. He's like, what the fuck was that? What is going on? Are you angry?
Are you angry?
Thank you for watching.
All right, bye guys.